Hello there everyone and welcome back. It is time to try once again for some more multiplayer action. At least while we have a good number of players coming in from the Skulls for the Skullstorm event that's going on top of just the regular sales in general. Hopefully all the newer players are enjoying Armada 2, but again, realistically and understandably, most of them are probably going to be spending more time on the single player than actually the multiplayer. Which really isn't a bad thing, because after all, multiplayer is just that much more intimidating, and really, for the health of this game, especially for possible sequels if there's ever going to be a thing in the future, you just want players to at least be playing the game. Multiplayer just benefits from the high number of players. But, with that said, I am going to play, or at least start off my warm-up game with some Eldari finally. At least to test the waters, and I'm really hoping we don't face off against someone newer, because this may just be quite the frustration for him. Maybe. The only plus side is I'm not relying on stealth so much, so maybe they'll at least feel like they have something they can do by putting pressure on me, whereas Drakari and Corsairs have that possibility of feeling out of control if you don't know how to identify them, how to listen for audio cues and all that nuanced stuff. But let's get started. See how, well, I don't know realistically how long to expect the cues. I did do like a warm-up match or two before and it seemed decent enough. But for all we know, that could have been like only one player just waiting for someone else to queue up. It's a little uncertain, of course, because even looking at Steam charts to try and get a good gauge of players, it leaves us with no idea on who's actually playing the multiplayer version. So this always feels like a gamble for me, but I'm going to play with my favorite type of Azuyani type of fleet. A lot of pulsars, a light frigate or light cruiser to kind of harass and provide some semblance of vision, since the Azuyani are terrible in the potential of the frigates and arguably the light cruisers as well. Since with the torpedo nerfs specifically to the cruisers, the poor light cruisers had to be neutered in that regard too. So they only have a single charge of 4 torpedoes when you factor in how the scaling charges works for like light cruisers, cruisers, and battleships. Since our cruisers here, they fire 8 torpedoes but still have 2 shots of them, even if it was nerfed down slightly for him. So I feel bad for the poor light cruisers, and don't even get me started on the the frigates. Unlike the Hellbore from the Corsairs, which have 400 health and an actual cruiser pulsar, the Shard Shadowhunter with its, oh no, that's the wrong ship. This is the one. The Shadowhunter with the lance is not really a true pulsar. It even does less than a pulsar when you immediately compare it to that of the Hellbore, as I mentioned with Corsairs. And add to the fact they only have 200 health, are just as damn well expensive, if not maybe more expensive. Actually, I think the Hellbore is a little more expensive just because it has the extra weaponry. Hellbore has 2 torpedoes that it launches out, and it also has a star cannon on it. Or for the equivalent of the Azuyani, it would be las cannons. And even then, that's a cruiser equivalent. Even if they only have a single one, as opposed to most frigates having like a large number of smaller, more rapid-fire type of weaponry. Well. If I can get a good handful of matches in, I'll be happy at least. The longer the stream goes, the better, of course. I'm always hesitant to alt-tab out because it mutes the background audio. So at the very least, we could still enjoy the prospect of the background music. And for all we know, yeah, everyone else is probably in a match at the moment. Since after all, 1v1, it's pretty easy to be stuck waiting a little bit even if there were a handful of people playing. Because as soon as they finish the match, they can just immediately queue up against either their opponent they just played against or just someone else. It's not like you have to wait for a bunch of people like with League of Legends, MOBAs, or anything like that. And they, what is it, been consistently toning down the point costs on that so it sees some use. Ooh, and we get ourselves a match. We get ourselves an opponent. What do we have in that case? Only one way to find out, I guess. I am a little bit worried if it is a newer opponent, since this may not be fun for them considering Eldari. You know Gashi. I want to say I recognize the name from somewhere, I just can't quite for the life of me recall where. And this could be an underwhelming match for him, but hey, I believe I actually won quite handily as orcs against Azuyani specifically. That was a while ago, of course, and that was before the sap slows became bugged, I think. But it is really nice to play with this fleet again. It's one of my favorite of the Corsairs. Or not Corsairs, but the Eldari. Mainly because they're designed to take a beating. They don't rely on those sneaky tactics of hiding and running away. Even though by design, that's what they should be doing. They just have the resilience and the hollow field to at least not be afraid of hiding. Or at least being exposed and out of the open is, I suppose, what I mean. Now, what do I want? Because I have a light cruiser to easily reveal them. They don't have cloaking, so my light cruiser can easily spot them. And without a doubt, Maelstrom is amazing. Especially for something that has, like, it's either on or it's off type of mobility. Because combustion gauge for, like, Imperial Navy and Chaos, they can heavily mitigate the Maelstrom's damage by just having that, at least with enough charge or energy left. Orcs, it's a lot more punishing. Oh, where's my light cruiser? I thought I grouped you. And that is a lot of ships. How many ships are we dealing with? I almost want to say they're light cruisers, depending on how many frigates we get. Okay, frigates are sort of hanging back.
You have seized a strategic area.
And you can go grab the points for me. Hope I'm doing a bad job controlling my fleet, but... well, there are a lot of ships that have to check through and make sure we know what's what. And a tractor cannon. So, you got basic upgrades, but you do have the main one that matters. And the light cruiser is going to be nice because it can just poke at its ass, bit by bit. And there's not going to be a lot they could do about it. I just gotta be careful of, again, that tractor cannon. That can really mess me up. Especially if these are mega cannons. Yep, these are mega cannons. One of which has torpedo. Two torpedoes, interestingly. I wonder what the thought process is there. And I do have bombers as well. And when they're isolated like this, my bombers can do pretty well. Can do a decent amount of damage. Now, I just gotta be mindful of the range of that tractor cannon, which I have no real way to know. Unless you have something that's conveniently, well, he's currently locked on, so I can only guess. Because everything's 1809,000. I could probably accurately guess when I'm in tractor cannon range, but it's still only guessing.
The enemy has seized a strategic area.
And I'm not going to boost in case my opponent knows to listen for it. With how close I am to his fleet anyway, he may just haphazardly notice it without even attempting to listen. So now let's get our shots in, try and cripple something. I'm not going to be able to do real hull damage until the next shot. So I'm just going to try remembering to watch the clock with that said. That's about 15-ish seconds. Although this cloaking technology is a little annoying. It don't even want to show me when my... It doesn't even want to show me my sensor range, so... Okay.
The enemy has seized a strategic
I was
area.
wondering if I can actually hit with that or not.
I walk the mariner's path.
Yep, that's annoying him. I got objectives, I got points, so...
Ancestors.
Not a big loss yet. I'm playing the positional game. Nope.
Rise.
I did some hull damage, but I can't... When they're literally looking at me, I don't think it's a good idea to engage. Who would have thought adding 5 portraits would just add a very annoying type of bug for me? Especially because of just not being able to aim my pulsars the best.
I stand ready. Relocating.
Although if you want to spread out your fleet, that's ideal.
How may I serve?
I have a gas cloud to hide in.
As foretold.
I gotta be mindful. Even with this dang invisibility.
Thrusters.
He can reveal me in a moment with a frigate scanner pulse and tractor cannon.
Slake our wrath. The winds rise.
I would like to know if I can hit you or not. I'm pretty certain I can, but
Craft world.
this is very problematic.
Slake our wrath.
Oh, and that's annoying, but it's enough damage that I can... Well,
For the craft
sadly that's not really true, but... I got a nice healthy point lead. We could shoot this cruiser some more. I don't think my light cruiser can realistically steal that point, though. But ideally, it's only the flagship that scares me.
I stand ready.
And I would love to fire torpedoes, I just, again, have no idea of my heading. I only got 1 charge of torpedoes, and this is basically try-hard mode for me.
We understand. Energize thrusters.
That was probably a mistake there.
As foretold.
I would like this. Well, it does save my progress on neutralizing a point, so there's that.
Thrusters.
Yeah, I should have done the Maelstrom melee, because he did boost, keep in mind.
You have accumulated 25%.
That would have been a good use to get some free damage in. It actually is still, thankfully.
As foretold.
And if I'm fast, maybe I can cripple this thing. Although my bombers are without a doubt not going to survive this exchange.
I walk
And the battleship's nowhere nearby.
relocating. Mariners pirouette. The wind.
Yeah, again, this is a lot of the reason why I feel bad for anyone facing off against Eldari, because this can very easily be frustrating. But at the same time, I can't hold these points. And those 2 ships alone are going to force back my light cruiser. I don't have the confidence, let alone the power, to actually fight them. Especially with this bug going on.
I stand ready.
So you definitely have to play a very objective-oriented type of match with orcs, especially when dealing with such high mobility difference.
The winds rise.
The
And it
enemy
may
has
not
seized a
be very
strategic
fun.
area.
I hope you're still moving.
Stand ready.
I'm really hoping you are.
As foretold.
Yeah, and I am still taking damage now that I'm identified too.
The winds rise.
So he can make something happen, especially if with a really lucky critical hit.
We understand.
But let's make something happen faster. This is gonna hurt. Not as many torpedoes as I realistically would have liked, but it's still good damage.
I walk the mariner's path.
And because the battleship, well, the battleship,
How may I
yeah, the battleship's just easy sitting ducks, so let's try and cripple everything else.
The enemy has
And apparently I
accumulated
lost 2 charges of
25%
bombers without
strategic
realizing it, so
points.
my Phoenix is rapidly losing a lot of its value here.
ancestors. wind's guide.
There. Oh god. He is going to get in boarding range now, but this is the one time I expect my torpedoes to actually hit. And speaking of torpedoes, I should have done that sooner.
Raise sail.
Alright. We'll try and grab the point again. Let's hopefully not lose my flagship, but... And your deck's gone.
For the ancestors.
Alright, so... I said this was going to be my only match with Eldari, and we're going to stick to that. As much as I would love to play with Eldari more. Nope, torpedoes. Fine, I'll hit you with my own torpedoes. Even if those pulsars, that torpedo did horrible.
Underway. Where the wind's guide.
Nope, and I still have torpedoes on you, come to think of it, so... Let's see if we can get you a kill.
The winds rise.
You probably need to be really close due to the small profile of that light cruiser.
You have seized a strategic area.
There, that feels good.
Craft was
It's the only charge you have, so hopefully it was enough.
as foretold.
And now I have no more bomber charges, so... Thankfully, this match is pretty much decided at this point. Oh god.
Underway.
Stop shooting my engines.
Graveguard strike has them crippled.
I don't want you shooting my engines.
We
It's a sure way for me to lose with this fleet really quickly if you can just ram me to oblivion.
We understand.
And there's some nice Orky remains for you up close and personal. I don't know if it's my opponent's wreckage or if it just randomly was spawned there. But it makes for good cover for my light cruiser at least.
How may I serve? The winds rise.
Alright. Let's finish this up quickly. I want to get, if I face this opponent again, I want to give him a real match. And not one where they might be more likely to just rage quit out.
I stand ready. As foretold.
You have accumulated 75%.
And while we're at,
strategic
let's at least
points.
grab these points maybe.
Where the winds guide.
And there's not really much point in actually boarding them unless I do concentrate boarding. And ideally board something I'm not expecting to kill immediately when I have torpedo charges. And even then, lightning strikes do so much little damage, especially with a light cruiser of all things.
We
But it's still
understand.
respectable boarding damage.
How may I serve?
Alright, let's clean them up. Ideally. And then get on to the real meat of this stream. Hopefully.
For the Assyriani.
Although you're going to take a little bit of time getting through that shield, I
For the
suppose.
ancestors.
And by that I mean one full salvo.
Dark stars in flight.
Energize thrusters.
Alright fella, you can't hide from me now, or actually you probably could because these fighters might get shot down quickly. I could flush them out. That's an idea too, but I'll wait till they get revealed.
Our foe is here.
Alright, finish them off. Hell, you don't even need to look at them because of your 270-degree arc. A nice convenience to have, while you set yourself to destroy this final cruiser.
I walk the mariner's path.
Alright, sorry fella. That is gone.
Underway.
No!
Craft world.
I might as well let him have this one then.
Sail.
Make it look like I just forgot about it.
Strategic points.
Because this match is already decided.
How may I serve?
Thankfully the ramming was, well, the ramming nearly killed us, so. Although, this might hurt. Oof. Thank God for 83 armor though, huh? That looked a lot more painful.
I walk the mariner's path. For the ancestors.
No, the AI pathing of the light cruiser was trying to turn away from ramming into celestial body, dang you. The AI pathing is too smart with the Eldari. Because if you want to know a little secret, when I was doing my guides and that way back at the start of Armada 2, I tried practicing ramming with my own Eldari ships, especially Drukhari, because they had the ramming blades to see if that was working as it should or how impactful it was. And every single time, even though I tried to make it happen, even at point blank range, they always tried to avoid each other, whether it was the Wraithbow shift or not. It made it incredibly difficult to actually test the ramming blades, damn it. And by that time, I believe they didn't even work properly, which is a part of the reason why I was testing it. It was incredibly frustrating. You just saw a little bit of a glimpse there. It's not even friendly targets for that matter, it's just whatever is in the way. Outside of maybe enemy ships. That's the only exception to that rule, I think. Now, assuming we face them again, what could be fun for an Orky fleet? Well, without a doubt, some Imperial Navy. Do I want to go with the Dictator fleet though? Because everything else I like to think is pretty well refined. Unless I want to go with my standard old classic fleet. But keep in mind, this had an Executioner back then. Oh yeah, and I was playing with Dauntlesses too. So I might stick with that actually, double battleships, because I want to play with more Dauntlesses. I want to go so far as to say they're my favorite light cruiser. There's not a lot of incentive to use them anymore though. It seems like it anyway. Although, let's see if we get the same opponent again or not. Oh god. And once again, the game's taunting me by how close I am to legendary rank with the Imperial Navy too. You know that just means disasters waiting to happen. But let's see. If it's our Orky friend again, at least this should be more entertaining for him. So I got a treat for him, sort of. Until the Dauntlesses fire melter torpedoes up their ass, that is. Oh, excuse me. Oh well, cloaking technology is still going strong, without a doubt. Either way, let me just quickly check Steam charts. I want to believe it's going up on the player base. Went up, but not as much as I would probably expect at this time. Unless most of the people who bought in on the sale are mostly Americans. That might be the exception. I'm not sure though. And with so many frigates and light cruisers, there is incentive to have extended reach. Especially since I don't really have high energy turn on my battleships. They're not really good in close, despite their power. Extended sensors or a mission dissipator. I'll throw my opponent a bone by not using a mission dissipator in case, since I honestly didn't look at what their admiral level was with the orcs. So disruption bomb, actually I want plasma bomb for this. Stasis bomb could be good if they get reckless. And of course it helps set up for a full damage plasma bomb too.
Setting course.
So I'm going to go out of a limb that this is the same kind of fleet. Do I want to go for the deck on all of them though? I like to destroy the engines on some, but especially since I'm going to be trying for a more longer range fight with my battleships. Since I should not win that in close with mega cannons. I should not. And it's a silly question of, yeah, I probably shouldn't have even gone with the extended sensors because I have fighters that just reveal this fleet for me. So I'm probably not doing me much favors when I could have gone with a mission dissipator instead.
Course engaged. Ship ready.
Alright. I did fire torpedoes,
Aye,
right?
Admiral.
Yep, it's just some weird glitchiness again.
Your orders?
Is it still running? You have to turn on for a second. Okay, sorry about that there. Now,
Aye, Admiral.
You have seized a strategic area.
let's see, what do we have? We got some hits, but not much of one.
Reserve.
Or not very many.
Understood.
And no, I do not want the group order, please.
Ship ready. Underway.
Oops, I don't want you going that way, actually. I was thinking that was the
wait your command.
friggin' light cruiser fleet. So ideally, I want this
The
fleet to
enemy
just
has
flank
seized
them
a
on the
strategic
side,
area.
while keep an eye
Enemy sighted.
on where our
Coordinates
battleship
acknowledged.
is. Thankfully, my battleships are not going to get impacted a whole lot by the tracked cannon, but everything else will.
Changing course.
Hell, I should just go to lock-on stance, since I could start harassing them at this distance.
Engaging engines.
And let's get a nice strafing run, so long as I don't hit myself, though.
Enemy sighted.
Nope, we look good.
The
It just
enemy
might
has
not...
seized a
Well, it could do a
strategic
lot of
area.
damage at that angle.
Changing course. Ship ready.
Maybe not as much damage as it could have been, but still good damage. And where's my stasis bomb I just dropped?
All ahead full.
I did drop a stasis bomb. Yeah, that's what I was wondering, dang you.
Setting course. We serve.
Now you just harass the battleship
Target locked
ideally.
in.
We do not want that thing causing problems with its double mega
Aye,
cannons. Especially since it prompted an entire turnaround of his fleet.
We wait your command.
Which as far as I'm concerned is quite the win.
Understood. Burn retros.
Now if I need to make this quick.
Course engaged. Underway.
I don't know how effective that was a torpedo run, but... Yep, that's kind of what I was expecting.
We serve.
And guess what? I have Salt running.
Your orders. Burn retros.
Although, that's not going to be as effective as I would like
Ship
here.
ready. Course engaged.
Enemy sighted.
I just hope I'm not hitting myself. I gotta check that. Well, it's impossible to tell from this angle.
We serve. Understood.
Nope, engines are completely gone. They are assault running, and I'm gonna hit pretty hard at this angle. With some good melta torpedoes.
Changing course. We serve.
So I think the light cruiser squad did its thing. Which how much this is kind of paying out for me.
Enemy sighted.
And you have no deck, so you're out of the equation.
Engaging engines. We wait
It
your
is gonna
command.
cost me a light cruiser though.
Enemy sighted.
Well, cost me 2 light cruisers.
Coordinates acknowledged.
No, dictator.
Your orders.
I don't want you hitting my own ships, please.
Heading acknowledged.
If you could somehow manage that, that would be nice.
Ship ready. Course engaged.
Oh, and the melted torpedoes are going to hit the one ship that's about to die.
Aye, Admiral.
That is a bit of a waste of melted torpedoes.
We serve. Engaging engines.
Now get in there and finish them off. ideally. And I have 2 more charges of the plasma bomb because I have battleships, which is going to be nice. And stasis bomb's going to keep you from turning. Although I probably should have made sure you were actually in the stasis bomb.
We wait your command.
Since I'd rather this thing not turn at all than actually have it burn retros.
Maximum burn. Underway. Your orders?
Alright, we got torpedoes coming up.
Coordinates
We can get
acknowledged.
behind this battleship pretty well. And sadly, it's so small profile, I don't think I can hit this light cruiser as well as I want.
Aye, Admiral.
Never mind the wreckage and what it did too.
We wait your command. Understood. Boarding teams have crippled the enemy. Coordinates acknowledged.
Oh, are those melted torpedoes good?
25%
That was a blind shot. Oh boy, did they ever pay off, but sadly repair was available.
We serve.
Well, you're kind, fellow. Because you just got me out of the plasma bomb when all I wanted to do was just fly right by you.
Damage teams. begin
Alright,
flares
now, back to what we were doing,
Heading
which is
acknowledged.
flying right into your battleship.
Ship ready.
Well, actually, I was trying to fly past the battleship, but now we have an opportunity to kill it.
Engaged.
You have accumulated 50% of strategic points.
Burn retros. Setting course.
Nope, I forgot about my frigates, but let's get them back in the fight.
All
Oh,
ahead full.
ooh, well, felt that.
Engaging engine.
If anything, make me turn. I want to turn more,
Aye, Admiral.
so I can hit these ships with more torpedoes. Oh, you're not gonna let me have it. Well. I like to think that was more fun, but then again, it was just my battleship staying as far away as possible from the capital ships. Oh, and it's a pre-made fleet. I think it is. It looks like a pre-made fleet, so that explains a little bit of the fleet composition. Either way, I'm just gonna go AFK a quick second to check on something, and then we'll continue on. Alright, never mind. Well, that corrected itself, basically. Some issues there, but... do I want to stick with this fleet or not? Because I'm suspecting we're going to face off against our same opponent again, maybe. So what I would like to give them is something more up close and personal, and cruisers are great for that. Although, that just kind of will... I can easily outperform my opponent when I have high energy turns. High energy maneuvers, so maybe I don't want to do that. We'll give this another try, but I don't even think I need the extended sensor range because of what I said already. I kind of have fighters to spot for me a little bit. We'll see though. They may have gotten our opponent. Oh, never mind, we got one right now. Who's it gonna be though? I don't want to have the same opponent repeatedly, ideally. Unless I mix things up by having different fleets. Let's see. Oh, Tau. I don't recognize you, so maybe it's not a 6-cruiser fleet? Maybe. It remains to be seen. Because this isn't quite the fleet built to deal with 6 cruisers and their seeker missiles. So I might have a bit of a hard time there, if only slightly. Yeah, well, let's just not tell the Inquisition about this glitch in the shield capacitors. Apparently the shields have something to do with this cloaking. In all seriousness though, who would have thought just adding 5 portraits into the game for the sale would cause this? I'm pretty certain it was that patch they put in there. But at the same time, did that actually fix any bugs when they did that patch, I wonder? Since I haven't really looked to see if the the disruption overcharge and spear crystal lenses actually stop pausing the shield regeneration or not, because that is, from what I understand, a bug anyway. Since it's only supposed to be useful against the hollow fields of Eldari and pausing the regeneration of Necrons. It's not supposed to pause the regeneration of shields, which in turn makes Supercharged Void Shield useless against those matchups. Let's see. I don't realistically oh, again, Tau. I need to take the possibility of Seeker Missiles seriously. And Mission Dissipator might allow me to get aggressive with the light cruisers. If there's any way I could possibly win against a solid Tau fleet, it's going to be these 6 ships. Somehow. I don't know how they're going to do it, because Tau have like the best turning rate of all ships in the game without having to use like a false maneuver or anything like that. So they can easily turn themselves around and just shoot at my frigates, and ideally keep vision of them with some good fighters too. That's assuming we're dealing with the 6 cruiser fleet.
Changing course.
And I'm trying to remember, yes, this is the Protector fleet. So, frigate, so we're looking very... Yeah, it's very much looking like 6 cruisers. We just have the benefit of an opponent who doesn't know about putting stances on right away. So experience is going to be a factor here. And I do have micro warp jump. Ideally, I want to bait them to shoot at the flagship because of the micro warp jump. I just gotta figure out where exactly would be good to jump, so that way I can hide my ship immediately. And I do have a mission dissipator too.
Maximum burn.
They may not hear it, but they could check for it.
Coordinates acknowledged. We serve.
And I'm not gonna I should probably reveal the flagship to tempt them, but I'm waiting for Brace for Impact to also kick in, or at least be available.
Understood. We wait your command.
And revealing them early is kind of helpful. If I can get away with it.
You have seized a strategic area.
Alright, start turning. And ideally we could just fly into this gas cloud. I could just boost towards it. He might waste his fighters and missiles on my ships. And that will burn at least one of his Seeker missiles. And I get to grab this point as a bonus. We'll see how he reacts.
Aye, Admiral.
Inexperience seems prevalent just because of the fact that frigates were not running. Unless they're using one for like the lock-on benefit, which would be apparent because they would still have a frigate up then.
Your orders?
Burn retros. Enemy sighted.
Alright, let's try and make the flagship a priority. They did not bite the bullet.
We wait your
Or
command.
take the bait at least.
Underway.
And I'm gonna have to figure out how to harass these outside of long-range torpedo shots. Because again, if I try and get too close, they can very easily...
The enemy has seized a strategic area.
Well, that explains that there, but...
Your orders?
We can outrun them pretty good. Much.
Course engaged.
And I can dodge... Yeah, I could dodge the railguns decently enough. It's the ion cannons that might kill my ships. Oh, and I thought I grabbed the objective too. That's a shame. Just keep these things turning slightly.
Changing course.
I'm actually okay with the flagship being revealed at the moment. Because again, it has the micro warp jump to help some. I just gotta make sure his fleet... Oh, well, let me just keep it there. There's enough point defense for me to... There's not even a point to using my stasis bomb is there yet. It helps buy me a little bit of time, I guess.
We serve.
Your orders?
Alright, these guys are gonna have to get in there and do some work.
Ship ready.
Coordinates acknowledged.
If I could prioritize and kill the flagship, that'd be nice while bombarding these two.
All ahead full.
Aye, Admiral.
Okay, stasis bomb is slowing some of them, but not all. So maybe that micro warp jump was unneeded.
Enemy sighted.
We wait your command. On target.
Well, that was not a result I was expecting.
Initiate emergency repairs.
This is where some good foresight is required, isn't it?
Impossible, Admiral.
Maximum burn.
Now that flagship needs to die. And the dictator can do it.
Engaging engines. Heading acknowledged.
Although I did a terrible job aiming for my torpedoes there.
Your command.
I was more worried about killing this ship.
Ship ready.
Impossible, Admiral.
Course
Alright.
engaged.
That cruiser should be dead. It might cost me my battleship though, but...
Burn retros.
And you're mutinied, thankfully, so this flagship's also gone.
You have accumulated 25% of strategic points.
Now let's actually put these ships to use. I'm doing a terrible job controlling these.
Setting course.
And you have torpedoes available.
Your orders? Acquiring new vector. We serve.
And you're still alive, but I cannot rally, so... Just take the crew hit.
Setting course.
I'm not happy with my control there, but it's looking very promising, surprisingly.
Course engaged.
And 2 melted torpedoes are a nice treat.
Damage teams, begin repairs.
Again, I'm likely winning due to experience since my opponent did not launch well, did he launch fighters to screen for the bombers at least? I want to say he
Reporting
didn't.
Successful boarding action.
So we can't brag about this win. The honest truth of the matter is,
Heading acknowledged.
it's a surprisingly solid win with that said though.
Heading acknowledged.
And you just repaired, so you know what that means? More melted torpedoes up your ass.
Aye, Admiral.
Especially with the convenient mutiny.
Your orders?
I said up their ass, not mine.
Your orders?
And I did not have Kulex's assassin to benefit from all that morale damage too.
We wait your command.
Yeah, at the end of the day though, I think experience played an important part there. And of course, being able to take down the flagship certainly helped. Quite significantly. Oh, what else is warping out? Since I've just realized I didn't grab any other points. So I would argue this was a bad performance by me, since I should have at least been diligent enough about grabbing the points and let alone micro warp jump not killing, or nearly killing my own frigates by jumping in front of them. That was a hilarious result I wasn't prepared for. And they didn't have repair drones or anything like that. So that played a big part in that match as well. Now, let's mix it up a bit, I guess. What was... Okay, Karn's 3 Shrouds, let's have some fun with this. At least, if cloaking technology is a thing this time, at least the Inquisition have nothing they can do about it. They can try to take out the Necrons, but it will fail. ultimately. And I'm trying to make sure my flagship is the tomb ship, is it? Yes, it is. I guess it opens up possibility for some mass recall shenanigans, I guess. But let's not try and do that cheeky type of strategy. Using a flagship that's just silent running to teleport everything on them while still having my inertialist drive available as a bonus. And I think Thok is the one that has the blue coloration, I can't remember. And I want Tesseract Crypt too, that's so damn useful for Necron. Especially since the regeneration is tied into their stances at this point now. So it's kind of important to have that. Otherwise, well, there's not really much to say until we see what our opponent is. I can do a whole bunch of different things, although if I were to say go up against Tau again, I am a bit in a precarious position because I only have one Star Pulse generator with this fleet. And that can cause a lot of problems. I need to be mindful of gas clouds at all times if I want to use my inertialist drive as a means to conceal myself. Alright, it's the same fella again. I am not equipped to hard counter his secret missiles and bombers though. But then again, was I really equipped to hard counter him with my, was it 2 battleships and 2 Dauntless fleet? Maybe not. But I don't have the convenience of just raw mobility and speed, let alone a good number of fighters to deal with their secret missiles. Excuse me there. Now, the plan's probably going to be very much the same. Somehow have these light cruisers harass without getting horribly murdered, but thankfully, I have so many points where I can just conceal myself some. Mass recall doesn't help me. Stasis bomb. Stasis bomb buys me like 30 seconds to recharge my inertialist drive, maybe. No, sadly, none of the other factions outside of Chaos and Orcs are the ones that have the bonus abilities. I think just for the hell of it, I might play with inertialist maneuver, but that's not going to do crap against secret missiles. So I don't think that does me a lot of good outside of maybe turning around back into a gas cloud, maybe. I never see it used, but ideally this is meant for Mechanicus anyway. But there might be value in a stasis bomb still. At least just to buy me time for an inertialist jump. Especially with reload. And I do get at least an increased critical hit chance with my scanner pulses. I just gotta remember that this cursed thing's on a different hotkey now, which I always forget. And it's annoying. So safe to say this is the same kind of fleet as before. If we can kill the flagship, that gives us a good momentum in breaking their ships, but going after the flagship can also be a trap in a lot of situations if my opponent knows how to protect it, or at least get other ships to shield for it. But without a doubt, if I could kill it, that would be great.
You have seized.
Oh yeah, and I forgot I already have cloaking activate by default, so I should have had I should have had reload on these things.
The enemy has seized a strategic area.
And actually keep these jackals near the battleship. So maybe, well, realistically the battleship gets the benefit off the critical hit chance. No, it just increases the lightning arcs, not the particle whip. Okay, beacon.
What is your command?
So let's just get ourselves turned around towards the other gas cloud, or at least be in range for the seeker missiles. Because I'm nowhere nearby. I doubt I'll dodge the beacon. And these shrouds are going to take a little bit of damage.
Energy to weapons array.
Okay, so you left one frigate out for maybe the target acquisition. Or the target lock. Whatever that upgrade's called.
As you command. I am the dynasty spear.
Yeah, I'm just going to see what happens when... As soon as I get revealed. Are they going to just bomb me immediately? Well, they're trying to dodge it.
How may I serve?
He knows he needs to keep his ships alive, but...
My liege. What is your command?
And I am currently revealed. So I'm waiting for it. Is experience gonna hurt you if you... Oh no, you're just defending your ships, interestingly.
Initializing motive power.
I think? Dang it, there's the hotkey.
The enemy
I
has
hit the wrong
seized a
hotkey. That was
strategic
supposed to be
area.
for the scanner pulse.
Inevitable.
Ooh, and conveniently, this is the flagship right here. I would love to board that. My ships just got revealed, didn't they?
Moving. Shroud strike complete. Critical damage levy.
Actually, I know what to do. Dang it, I was hoping to turn the seeker missiles into the flagship. That was a mistake, but I shoot most of them down and I dodge most of them still. That was not what I wanted. But at least now you get to draw the fire a bit. And it's only a single bomber squadron, so I'm not worried about that. Well, there goes most of those ships. And I can conceal myself, right? No, I'm scanner pulse, so I can't. And now these shrouds just hit everything for me. Although... Ideally, I would like them to just hit their own ships, but... That's good enough for me. Now, can you repair? Take as much of these hits as possible for me. Because I might still lose this. Even with their flagship gone, I don't have anything to do to morale damage anymore. I am still regenerating health though, but I need... If I can have the shrouds take the hits somehow, that would be the ideal situation. They are breaking. Is that enough though, or am I dead anyway? If I destroyed their deck, this is over. Not with that inconvenient, sadly, probably not with that inconvenient, mutiny. I want to kill that because it technically could reactivate its crew. Thank you. And yeah, your deck's gone, so you or damaged, so you're out of the equation. I do need to be mindful of the boarding, but I could just jump and conceal myself and have salt running, so you have to stay within a certain range of me. I just got a lot of work if I want to kill the deck. I need to do another assault skill if I want to kill that deck. And your fighters don't really do a lot, because they're not going after me. You can see me, but I could just get repositioned. There. Easy fix there. Although, I'm just wondering if I should grab the objective or not, because that can be another factor, but once I destroy the ship, that's not a problem.
50% of strategic points.
Yeah, just keep running. I sadly did switch out of my silent running, but I'll hit you soon enough. It's the boarding I'm more concerned about to damage your deck.
What is your command?
Oh, silly me. I forgot my entire strategy here, which is my frigates.
I am the Dexter Spear.
I got a little preoccupied trying to keep my
The enemy has
ship,
seized a
or was it
strategic
my
area.
light cruisers alive that I forgot about that poor thing. Sadly, it's not going to be enough to kill the crew. But we got more weaponry to help join the fight. Up. And I don't have enough point defense. Oh well, deck's gone. We're good. A little more dramatic than it probably need to be, because those dang frigates were not in the fight, I didn't get my double critical hit chance. Never mind the fact I was messing up with my scanner pulse ability anyway. So that was annoying. Again, if they had the regeneration, or even more so, if I had the Scarab Swarm, that would have been so much more devastating on them. But experimental railgun, repair drones, that definitely could have made a difference there. I just had no way to do the additional morale damage though, since I didn't have the Nightmare Shroud. So I'm wondering what to take next, if we're going to potentially encounter the same person again. I could take orcs. Orcs and the rocks kind of want to, yeah, the rocks definitely want to take their hits. Do I even care about the boarding ships though? Do I really want to play with the boarding fleet? I don't expect it to do very well. I don't expect it to, especially since I have no fighters anyway. Yeah, I have saps, which would be good at slowing them down, if only slightly. So maybe there's something there. And I probably will need the Wog Song to make sure my ships don't break when the flagship's about to die. So I might go with that. Although having no fighters is going to be annoying for the Shock Mega Cannon though. And even then, if I were to face them again, I shouldn't even be able to spot them with a single frigate anyway. So I might just use, well, that's kind of what my rock's for at the same time, isn't it? It gets in there, draws all the fire, because it's immune to critical hits, and it has AC armor all around, so that thing's taking quite a beating for me. So maybe I use that to kind of draw their fire. Ideally when I'm close enough to reveal them for my saps. We will see. Unless I get a different opponent, we'll find out in a moment. Same fella. He does have the most intimidating of the Tau fleets at least, so it's not like these are going to be easy matches for me, despite the fact that he does have the lower admiral level. It's just a question if he can learn how to get the most out of those seeker missiles and the fighters to screen properly. And even with orcs, I can dodge the seeker missiles to some extent, especially if I'm mindful about where the gas clouds are. Wrong group there. Although brace for impact is probably really important. I think I have more point defense with this fleet than I do with my Imperial Navy 6 cruiser fleet, if only slightly. So there is potential for me to shoot down their bombers and hopefully their seeker missiles. I'm not going to have a stasis bomb either to help in this matter. Where is my flagship? There you are. And I'm not even placing this fleet properly anyway. I want to grab objectives just in case this drags out. And then the rock just goes and be's annoying. Ideally. Somehow be annoying. If it can at least take 2 seeker missile charges from him, that helps a lot. It may even survive the 2 seeker missile charges, if I'm so lucky. Just because it can turn almost on a dime a little bit, so it can evade the missiles quite decently. Alright, so that's fine. Only thing I can realistically hope for is maybe have the rock, again, spot for me while it's drawing all the fire.
Faster, you grots!
And you will do about 6 troop damage with the shock attack, so that will kill maybe half, close to half the first third of the crew. Maybe I just fire torpedoes for the hell of it, although fighters are already coming. And those are the ones that don't have the armor piercing, so I don't expect them to really do anything.
The enemy has
At least the
seized a
damage torpedoes.
strategic area.
You got it.
With that said, I don't want to hit myself
Here we go.
if I can help it. And you know what I could do? Just have this dang rock
You have seized a
grab the
strategic
beacon.
area.
Just grab the goddamn beacon, although that was aimed poorly, wasn't it?
Orcs is best.
I did not account for its hitting the best.
You want us over there? Yeah?
Okay, so the frigate successfully got the beacon. Now get away from the rest of the fleet. For now.
You want us over there?
Oops. I'm kind of helping my opponent a little bit.
You got it, boss.
Sadly, I'm not going to shoot any of the bombers down, unfortunately, but
Our escort went boom.
let's see about doing some damage. I have saps, remember. Can we at least start to soften them up? I would have loved to kill more of the bombers, though, with that said.
Faster, you grots.
I'll have them revealed in a moment, though.
In a rat barn.
I would have loved to well, if I'm so lucky, maybe the boosters will expire before.
Back, boys. Get to work, you lazy geese.
Yeah, because if I could dodge this would be nice. At least to mitigate damage.
The fight is over here.
Now, the flagship's way over there.
Move that junk.
And sadly, I need to get these ships to hurry.
Grots.
because time is of the essence right now.
The enemy has seized a strategic area.
Alright, now they're getting the right idea.
You ain't a boss of me. You got it, boss.
Although I still have brace for impact, I'm hoping my point defense can shoot these down. I have enough point defense at least. Although I'm not staggering my zaps unless that got fixed, so let's keep that in mind.
Wings ready. Dagger, dagger, dagger. You got it, boss.
Alright, boring torpedoes going in.
Fire's over here.
And we'll ignore you for now, because we're going to run right through you.
Fire another day.
Although, killing my own ships is a very orky thing to do, I think.
An escort's in with bang bang, boss. Faster, you grots. Get 'em. We'll get 'em, boss.
Alright, kill this ship for me,
Move
please.
that junk.
Can we board with more torpedoes? If only slightly.
Wings ready. You orders over there.
And ideally, I just want to board the hell out of you while doing good broadside damage.
Here we go. That's not supposed to burn. Fixing. The fire's over here. We stuffed the enemy ship.
Well, that would look painful. I hope you didn't mind that.
Get to work, you lazy kids.
Because the flagship mutinied and it's gonna die in a moment, I'm really hoping.
25% of
Although
strategic
sadly my torpedoes are breaking on me. And I don't take kindly to that.
Move that gun. Boarding is what orcs do best.
More boarding, more torpedoes, more mutinies.
accumulated 25% of strategic points.
I'm happy with my opponent at least is learning how to try and kite from me, but again,
You want us over there?
there's no fighter screen, so I am actually shooting down the bombers and the seeker missiles relatively well.
We stumped the enemy.
But they're learning. Are they aware that they should be doing that though? Is trying to screen.
Orcs, orcs, orcs.
Which is what I should be... Why I probably should go with a carrier fleet next to see if they notice. Or at least let's give them that idea.
Here we go. Move that junk.
Because like I said before, sure, the orcs have less point defense, but... Well, I guess my argument's not really... It's kind of moot when my frigates and rocks aren't there. But still. They were able to take out the bombers really well when they launched nothing but bombers at me. And with no fighters to kind of trap and snare their bombers, at least to give me more time to shoot me down, that could have very easily cost me the match there. I would like to argue, I didn't even get to use my Wog song. It was looking precarious at first with how quickly the rock was dying, but then when the rest of the fleet got there, they couldn't really commit anymore, and they had to spend a lot more time running away than doing damage to me. So now I'm just wondering, well, if I'm going to do any fleet with carriers, it might as well be the one that I'm going to have the hardest time with. Where is it? And let's give this thing a proper name now. I just don't know what name to do. I don't know what the thing. I want to name it based on the tabletop game. It's all about aerial fighting combat. I just can't remember what it's called. I'm trying to remember, dang it. I don't even think I'm spelling it right. We'll just leave it at that. I'll fix it later. Because I'm pretty certain I got wrong. Yeah, it even looks wrong, so I'm just gonna Alt-Tab and try and figure it out. If I can even find it. Aeronautic Imperialis. There it is. Now, how the hell am I gonna type that in? I apologize for the alt-tabbing out, since it does kill the background music at least. Imperialist. Let's see, I'm trying to make sure I spell this right. That's pretty close at least, so I'll happily stick with it until after the stream. There's our proper name for this fleet. Now, we'll see how this does. It's going to basically hard counter the poor Tau fleet, I'm not going to lie. Since I have 5 fighter squad, or 5 carrier ships that are 6, and Novacans who don't really care if my fighters do anything or not. So we'll see how this plays out, if we encounter him again, that is. Ideally, I would hope for a new opponent, but that will happen when it happens, I guess. And it looks like they got another opponent, or they stopped playing. Or maybe I just jinxed it. We'll know in a moment. But at the very least, I was kind of happy my opponents seemed like they were learning how to use the fleet. Dark Assassin, I know I encountered you before, I just can't remember what context. So this might... well, if I can hit with Novacans, then sure, I can do well. That's kind of a given. With Novacans, it's always the case, if I can hit with Novacans, I'll do well. It's just getting through the shields when I don't have a lot of weaponry to get the shields down in the first place. That might be a problem. I just hope for that Tau adversary that they at least enjoyed those matches. That's all I can really hope for. It's just really hard to know. Because I tried to take the most simplistic style of fleet, which just runs them down. There's not a lot of strategy to it otherwise. Now, with that said, do I just go with unlimited charges on Nova Cannons so that way I at least have a Nova Cannon to start shooting with? What am I expecting from their fleet? Because armor on the shields is still not terrible. I just really like this upgrade, it just never sees use because it's not really needed. By the time you fire all your Nova Cannons, it's basically... the battle is basically decided by that point. Alright, let's do this. And at the very least I have to back up on the Rad Tempest and maybe do additional damage over time. In situations where I may still have Eye of the Omniscience shots to trap them.
Engaging drive.
So, big question. Are we looking at slaughters? They're not moving at the moment. And 100 millisecond ping. 1001, 1002, 1003, 1004, 1005. So, those are not slaughters. They're going about 200 unit speed.
To serve the Omnisire.
And there's no point in launching fighters because this gas cloud is going to intrude.
To serve the Omnissiah. Reroute power to retro propulsion.
The
I
enemy
want to
has
wait till they
seized the
clear the gas
strategic
cloud,
area.
so at least then I have some confidence my bombers will hit them.
You have seized a strategic area.
State your order.
I'm just paying close attention to if they are launching fighters at this point.
Transition.
Although with the cruisers they have, they shouldn't have. Don't even need to worry about fighters. It's just a matter of knowing if they are launching fighters, because they could be well concealed if they launch them in the gas cloud.
Interceptors engaging.
Okay, fighters and bombers away.
Machine spirit appeased.
Let's hope the fighters last
Receiving
long
your
enough,
order. Thruster routines
because these
active.
frigates might actually be a bit of sitting ducks if I'm not careful. And I'm just curious how much range. I could launch Nova cans on them in a moment.
Hostile signature detected.
Oh, oh yeah, so Acheron fleet of some kind.
Your order. Optimal course set.
And you didn't scanner pulse. Ooh, that was a nice win for me.
With matchless efficiency.
Yep, now take the bombers and like it. Sadly, that was a waste of 2 Novacan shots. He's gonna avoid them in time.
The enemy has seized a strategic area.
It's good starting damage at least, and I only lost, what, 1 fighter squadron, I believe? Maybe both of them.
Calculating vectors. Receiving your order.
And they are just Prowlance Hades.
Rouse the engines.
Yes, burn all your combustion gauge, please. You are a prime target for death.
Target on screens. Thruster routines active. Calculating vectors. Optimal course set.
Now, why do I have no more fighters, though? There, that's more like it.
Interceptors engaging. Transition begun. Does not compute.
Oh,
Calculating
ships are
vectors.
rebelling. Sadly, Novacans are doing a big whiff there.
With matchless efficiency. We are ready to
I can at least
serve.
protect this pretty well. I have a celestial body for that.
Active. Reroute power to retro propulsion. Rouse the engines. Engage chrysalis protocols.
Now keep hitting it, keep slowing it ideally,
Spirits obey.
and prime for more death. Since sadly I think all my bombers died on me.
With
Keep
matchless
burning that combustion
efficiency.
gauge. That's a lot of
Engaging
combustion
drive.
gauge burnt there.
To serve the Omnissiah. Interceptors engaging. Rouse the engines.
And hopefully with all that combustion gauge burnt, I should be good. Oh god, these invisible ships are going to be a pain in the ass to try
Machine spirit
and maneuver past.
Transition begun.
Ah, dang it, it didn't work.
Reroute power to retro propulsion.
All I have to do is stall, and then I get another,
Propulsion.
I can hit again with the Rad Storm pretty
We are
soon.
ready to serve. Optimal course set. Receiving your order. Engaging drive.
Just keep spraying out the damage, ideally.
Calculating vectors. Optimal
And this will
course
time out
set.
nicely for a Rad Storm, maybe.
To serve the Omnisire. Does not compute. With matchless
And you don't have you do have armor piercing, so
Machine spirit
that is good to
appeased.
note. Although, don't get crazy on the control, please.
Calculated. Interceptors engaging. Transition begun. Engaging drive.
Okay, so I'm easily gonna dodge that, I believe. Where's the flagship, though? Well, he's repairing ships, to be fair.
Transition begun. Cluster routines active.
And sadly, my bombers didn't do a whole lot, but
The spirits obey.
engines are getting damaged, so
Holy
this is
Omnisire,
badly timed.
heal thy wounded servant.
The enemy has seized a strategic area. The enemy has accumulated 25% of strategic points.
Calculating vectors. Interceptors engaging. Does not compute.
And the flagship is gonna die in a moment. So unfortunately, this is looking like it's pretty much over for me now. My Rad Storms didn't quite do enough damage, and I messed up with my Nova cannons on multiple fronts. Yeah, I probably could have captured the other points, but with the way this battle was going, I think it would have been decided before the points even mattered.
Active. We are ready to serve.
Judging by the score now, unless I actually got some kills, that's the exception.
Machine spirit appeased.
And I don't think I have any bombers left either.
We are ready to serve. To serve the Omnisire.
You have seized a strategic area.
Alright.
The spirits obey. State your order. With matchless efficiency.
And I'm launching only bombers at this point, so that's probably a bit of a mistake too. There was some good bomber damage early on, but if I couldn't slow him down with the Eye of the Omni sign, I wasn't going to connect with the future shots, apparently.
Rouse the engines. Escort ship at malfunction.
So that's ultimately what it came down to, not getting the Novacan hits. Because that actually would have helped with my bombers doing damage. And we did cripple some of their ships, but
Odds of survival.
with no long-range weaponry outside my lance turrets, it's not like I have the easiest way to... what is it? To at least follow up on that kind of damage. Unless I manage to trap them, that's the exception there. And again, I messed up a little bit on some of those Novacan shots too. Now, do I try that again or not? Because I'm half wondering if we'll get the same opponent or not. Since Prow Lances, the Hades aren't going to be doing a whole lot if I'm going to be putting pressure on them. Since that is a Prow weapon that's only really good when they're chasing me, so that conveniently worked out against Mechanicus, sadly, since I can't really do a lot of damage in close. But against the Imperial Navy or anyone else, that probably would not have been very effective, since they have what? The same firepower as a regular Carnage, otherwise, with less turrets, I think, on top? I think, anyway. We'll give this fleet another try there. And again, if I can trap them in the Red Tempest, that is a lot of damage, but I need to time it in a way where the bombers can capitalize on all of that. And the Mars pattern reactor feed did nothing for me in that case too. So in all honesty, having the armor on the shields probably would have been best there. At least to give me more longevity, because I don't really have the close range firepower to benefit off the armor piercing. We'll see what we get this time around. I just don't want to go with a super serious fleet because I'm worried for a less experienced opponent. Even though this could erase a fleet pretty quickly. Let's not kid ourselves. Nope, nothing there, sadly. Game probably crashed on him or something, I'm not sure. But at the very least, early on we did get some good damage in on the one cruiser, but it's about constantly doing that damage, especially to get the kill early on, or at least be able to follow up on it in some form. Which we sadly didn't get to do. Not in the slightest. Because if I could have crippled one of those ships early on, that at least helps quite a bit. Because then it's basically 5 cruisers on 5 cruisers then. And that's the main downside to the Mechanicus fleet, is I'm almost always down one ship. At least in comparison to like Imperial Navy and maybe Chaos. So I need to make that Novacan work. And it can be really easy to dodge, but what I was kind of hoping and gambling on a bit was how much of that combustion gauge was being burnt just for the high energy turn. Because you're not really getting a lot of value out of your combustion gauge if you're using it for turning, but it allows you to at least make those evasive maneuvers. I was kind of gambling there for a bit that he had spent it all or didn't have any left. So I'd be kind of forced to take those Novacan hits. Sadly, it didn't pan out the best, and I missed out an opportunity for 2 Novacans to even hit, too. That was my own fault, though, I will admit. So, who do we get this time around? What do we get? What do we get? So long as they didn't DC or crash again, that's all I could ask for. Although after it's about 30 seconds, I think they just dropped out or lost connection. Because normally at this point we would have an opponent. Oh, there we go. Truffle Historian. Oh boy. Now I kind of feel bad for this Orc player because Novacans can erase them too. All they have to do is boost and then I blow up half their fleet. With some well-placed Novacan shots. Is that what I want to do? Maybe I'll be a little more generous with my Novacans and just prioritize more on using my Eye of the Omniscience to slow them down, so that way my bombers can cripple them instead. Maybe throwing in 1 Novacan shot or 2 just to emphasize the point they need to be mindful of that weapon. But I'm not going to try and obliterate them, assuming this is a newer opponent. I'm assuming it is anyway. And I did a terrible job controlling my frigates too. They can actually be pretty decent at chipping down the shields for me, since my main cruisers are very limited in taking down the shields on their own. Since lances, considering they're meant for armor piercing, always hitting weaponry, are not really meant to shoot down shields. But they're the only weapon I got for this fleet at the same time. Since what, my macro cannons are really short ranged, I almost want to argue if my macro cannons can shoot, I can't hit them with Nova cannons anymore. So there's terrible synergy there for that reason. And now what are we up against?
Calculating vectors.
I only...
Hostile signature detected.
Alright, all battleships. These are the carrier battleships too. So I don't need to tell you how much this benefits me. I'm probably not going to get to bomb them very well if they use them defensively, but at the same time, they're not going to do much to me either.
Vectors. Engage engine red lines.
And they have a lot of torpedoes, so not the most terrifying if I'm
To
smart
serve
about
the
it.
Omnissiah. The spirits obey.
And these frigates can, well, I would like to just harass the battleships as much as
Engaging
possible.
drive. Reroute power to retro
I think that
propulsion.
benefits me more while these cruisers start making their way over this way.
Transition begun.
You have seized a strategic
Yep.
area.
Let's give them a warning shot. I would like to give them a warning
Reroute
shot, I'm
power
just
to
out of
retro
reach.
propulsion.
Yeah, there's really no point in shooting the Nova cans
Optimal
yet if I
course
can at
set.
least start softening them up.
State your order. Reroute power to retro propulsion.
Alright.
Engaging.
And then we'll have
drive.
2 Nova cans to at least give them a little bit of a warning. Although, not the best kind of Nova can shot, sadly.
Transition begun. Machine spirit appeased.
Hopefully that gets the point across. There's some for the poor fella.
Utter the canticles of battle.
Do they have saps with that said? Yeah, they have saps, but no upgrades to slow them
State your
down.
order.
So that's not really a problem yet, and actually I'll just have you hang here and
Battle
shoot the rear.
protocols engaged.
This could potentially be an unsatisfying match for my opponent just because, again,
With
I want to stay away from the orc,
efficiency.
but they don't really do anything until they get in close. So let's see, are you turning around? Are you getting annoyed by those guys? Oh, here comes the fighters. And that ship should survive the Maelstrom, or the Radstorm. Oh,
Interceptors
and I only need one
engaging.
fighter squadron to deal with those boarding parties. Especially with the point defense helping.
Reroute power to retro propulsion.
The enemy has seized a strategic area.
Oh, here comes torpedoes.
Optimal course set.
So this might hurt a bit. I did say I was going to go only 2 Nova cans at a time, but these battleships are still scary.
The spirits
I'm not even using my bombers, to be honest. Well, realistically, I don't expect my bombers to do a whole lot with them having all those fighter bays.
interceptors engaging. Rouse the engines. We are ready to serve. Focusing warsight.
Oh boy, here they come.
Engines to fury.
Now's an opportunity for bombers, I guess.
Hawks engaging.
Oh, you conveniently rammed into the celestial body for me.
Routines active. Reroute power to retro propulsion.
And I only have 1 bomber squadron, so this is not going to do a lot. If the bombers even survive the trip.
Calculating vectors.
Oh, they survived.
Ready to serve
Can they make the return trip, though?
with matchless efficiency.
You have seized a strategic area.
Reroute power to retro propulsion.
Return everything back, please. We got bombers to use.
Interceptors engaging.
Ah, dang it. The fighters were a little bit too slow there. They're actually doing boring damage to me. We can't have this.
To serve the Omnissiah.
But at least half their fleet's kind of out of the fight now.
Thruster routines
And they could kill my
active.
crew really damn well.
Does not compute.
And without a Colex Assassin, I'm not going to be able to force this thing to break really quickly.
Transition begun. Castellan Maniple
Well,
teleported.
they know about cold arms at least, but
State your order.
there is almost nothing to worry about with a bunch of Mechanicus boarding
Transition
parties.
begun.
You have accumulated 25% of strategic points.
Nope, flagship's about to lose all its crew. Pretty damn
Machine
close
spirits
to it.
appeased.
And how much bombers? Well,
Legio Cybernetica have boarded the enemy.
I still gotta wait a few moments.
Rouse the engines. Reroute power to retro propulsion.
I want at least all my fighters and bombers to be available.
Holy Omnissiah, heal thy wounded servant. Severe damage
Although I
to
don't
their
think my fighters are gonna
corrupted
intercept their boarding parties, with that said.
with matchless efficiency. Machine spirit appeased. Thruster routines active.
There we go, bombers are doing their thing.
The spirits obey.
Now let's just get behind them and finish this off quickly. Well, they already boarding me, so I was gonna say, hopefully avoid getting boarded by their battleship.
Reroute power to retro
Thankfully,
propulsion.
they did not board the flagship, so I'm safe there in that regard.
Does not compute.
Now let's send this thing off.
Thruster routines active.
And one more for the road. That will force them to break. No! You're supposed to break, dang you. There we go.
Hostile signature detected.
Although, well, the carrier battleships could do some good damage. Keep in mind, those fighters actually can do hull damage to me, which is something only the orcs and necrons can do. So they're not really a joke. It's just well, there's not a lot they could do about the Novacans if I really wanted to try to obliterate them is the problem. Especially with only 4 ships. They make it really easy for me to fixate and focus them down. Although, we'll throw them a bit of a bone, we'll give them a bit of a slugfest, I guess. If they wanted, let's give them an orc mirror match, if we're so lucky to encounter them again. If they want a slugfest, they're gonna get one. It'll be alright good fighting. The orcs are gonna be satisfied. I just couldn't tell you which orcs. So what do we have? What do we have? Maybe the same opponent if it connects pretty soon. Because normally this is the part where I would say that they lost connection or something. Yep, there we go. Orky on Orky action. This should be fun. I could not for the life of me tell you who's gonna win this match. Since my fleet's kind of based on boarding, and when they have so much troops in their battleships, that's gonna be hard to board them to death. But then again, their ships aren't all that terrifying either, so I should be okay? Question mark? Should be okay. And I kind of want to go brace for impact just because they do have those fighters and all those abilities. At least to help mitigate some. Because again, their fighters can do hull damage to me if I don't take them seriously. And that can cripple me right early on. Oh yeah, let's actually pick our skills. That might be helpful too, but... What abilities do I use with that said? Tractor Cannon's not going to do a whole lot. Well, more Nova Cannons, since that's what I used to win last time. I just don't think I'm going to stay long enough to grab that objective, though. I think. Actually, they're slow. They're battleships. I might be able to get away with it while I'm waiting for the rest of my fleet regardless.
You want us over there?
Yeah, let's put them to a test. Let's teach them how to be a better player by having to dodge these torpedoes immediately.
You have seized a strategic
I just gotta make sure I don't hit myself, because I don't need these damage torpedoes if they're crap at doing damage. At least on the prow, they're crap. Although again, I have not checked if that bug was fixed with that patch or update or not. Since technically it wasn't really a patch, was it now? But it's the same fleet as before. Let's see if they know what to do with these torpedoes, although I think... Yeah, they're almost already gonna dodge them, just because of the angle. They just don't care about the rock and everything in the middle.
You got it.
So we're gonna have to just try that again.
You have seized a strategic area.
When I said for you to dance, I mean it, damn it. There we go. Fighters are going to deal with these. Simple enough. I still want you to dance, dang it. You're not going to do it for me.
Yeah.
Well, okay, that works out well for me. Their fighters are going to do crap for the next 9 seconds, I think. They are going to shoot down more of my torpedoes, though. Yes, keep boosting. I'm not quite in reach yet for Nova Cannon. Even though, again, especially since I only have one Nova Cannon, I really would like to kill their shields. So I can actually get some hull damage in. Oh well. Now let's force them to do something about this, if these actually hit. Not very well, sadly. Yes, board me. That's kind of what I want. This thing is meant to be a sacrifice. And since you have basically all torpedoes up front, I don't need to... Nope. Let's boost and dodge. And you already boarded, so I don't think I'm worried too much about this. Alright. That was some sort of decent Nova Cannon hits there. Yeah, let's get some torpedoes in. And I could just fire these torpedoes recklessly too, since they don't really do damage to me. They're not the best aimed torpedoes, but if some of them hit, that's all that matters to me. There goes my final Nova Cannon shot, which immediately is pointless, or did nothing there. Now to get in the thick of it, boys. Fire everything. I have plasma bombs too, so let's make this flagship... let's destroy this flagship, ideally. Yes, and one of the ships mutinied. This is probably the best thing I could ask for. And I do have Wog Song activated, so hopefully my ships will be alright morale-wise. Which might be also the reason why I'm winning this, since they don't have the Wog Song, I believe. It's a mess. Let's keep with the ramming, though. Alright, turn, turn. You got torpedoes, you got ramming to do. Don't disappoint us. There we go. Oh god, he's still going, he's still going. I don't think we're out of the woods yet, despite how silly this is becoming. Okay, now it's over. Well, that was nonsense. I don't think my Novacan really did anything, though. I probably should... Well, I already had the plasma bomb. The Novacan did crap, sadly. Even though it did get a couple hits, which I think did damage morale. Maybe I'm underestimating the potential of the Novacan there. It's only 30 morale, as opposed to the 100 of the Mechanicus. But it does fire like 5 of them. So maybe that's where the morale loss is justified. I don't know. I do not honestly know. And I'm a little bit afraid to go with play around with Space Marines, because if we face them again, that's going to be even worse for them. Because Devil Battle Barge can wreck orcs pretty good with their increased critical hit chance. I don't know if I want to commit to that yet. What would be a good alternative, though? Only alternative I could think of is something that at least is close range oriented, so I'm not running away from them all day. Which might be Crude War Spears. And Bastions, maybe. I'm not against trying, at least. And I do have a battleship with the 3 frigates, so I don't need a beacon. I shouldn't need a beacon anyway. Well, we'll see if I need the emission dissipator or not. I was wondering if I stick with that. But we'll see if we get them again or we get someone else. It's looking like maybe they got another opponent or they just hopped off. I am curious though, did Steam charts update or not? How many are we looking at currently playing? Well, player base is still increasing, but it's a very small increase over the past hour. At least it's healthier than it has been before the sale. That's kind of obvious. That's kind of stating the obvious, though. Let's just hope they stay around for a bit, if nothing else. Now, what do we get this time? Oh, this is a different opponent, is it? Lipstandari. I don't know how to pronounce that, and I'm pretty sure I didn't even come close to pronouncing it. But we'll go with it. Lipstandari, or Lipstandari? I don't know. Either way, we got War Spears, we got Demiurge. We have a battleship to hide behind said War Spears. Do we have asteroids, though? We do have one. I'm curious if there's wreckage, though. That is an important thing. I want to check if there's wreckage around that I can maybe use also. Okay, right here. I don't want to rotate the camera. I'm a little bit afraid to do that because it does throw things off a bit, especially if you're watching. Oop, that's not what I want. But there's possible I could charge my weapon there too. Oh, bunch of wreckage even. So Demiurge, I think, are going straight through the middle. Battleships, of course, are going to grab points for me. And we'll see how this plays out. And I gotta keep in mind this has broadside torpedoes. So we'll just need to be careful there.
Mining ship underway.
So I did, oh yeah, Mechanicus. So we're dealing with
Demiurge
5
ship
cruisers
at
and
your
then
orders.
2 frigates if I had to guess. Yeah, 5 cruiser fleet. So now this is where we get to see the other end of how important it is to dodge Nova cannons. And I am the host, so this is going to be a lot nicer for controlling my war spears.
Brute here to fight or town.
So ideally, let me spread up my ships.
Stop, crew.
So that way I'm not risking hitting multiple ships.
We obey.
You have seized a strategic area.
Demiurge, you just charge up your laser, because that's what you do. Now, let's just, yeah, I was fooling around a little bit there. It was a good game, though. But of course, since I had no long-range weaponry, since I was going with the carrier fleet, I kind of was relying on those Nova cannons to actually connect. The bombers did well early on, but again, same problem. If I don't connect with the Omniscience, I'm not really hitting you with the bombers in a consistent manner. Now, you did scanner pulse, which maybe you're worried about invisible ships, which is possible. And they are using a 5 cruiser fleet still, so let's not get complacent. I need to... In all honesty, I need to watch my fleet almost exclusively. I should never be looking at their fleet if I want to watch for those Nova cannons. And actually, let me try and reveal their frigates, so at least I have something to shoot at. If they're not going to assault run with them, why not just shoot them down? Okay, so you have extended sensors. Demiurges have the speed and mobility to easily dodge Nova cannons, so I'm not really worried about them.
How may I serve the tower?
And in all honesty, I want to get in their face regardless.
Aircast ready for orders.
You have seized a strategic area.
And one crude war speeder could do that amazingly, but
At your orders, Koro.
I am just watching for them. Where are those Nova cannons? Oh, you have a battleship, so... Wait a minute. Okay, you're just shooting. You're not using Nova cannons, alright.
Brute here to fight.
I will happily take that. That is a nice gift you have given me.
Say we obey.
Now, I don't... If these Demiurges do what they're supposed to do, this is not going to be pretty. And I could just board their frigate and kill it. Well, they know to run away from the Demiurge, so that... Although, they're flying to their own ship, so that's going to be a bit of a problem.
Say we obey.
Alright, let me just repair the War Spear. I don't want to go to Brace for Impact, because it should be immune to critical hits after all. Outside of boredom results, causing critical hits.
At your orders, Koro.
So what is your fleet exactly?
The enemy has seized
Oh,
a
it's one of those
strategic
starter
area.
fleets, is it? And you probably don't know about the Nova cannons either, which probably is making this harder for you. Since you don't want to be this close. I hope you know how to execute the crew. I have not prioritized. Your deck hasn't been hit yet.
Aircraft ready for orders.
Your people need you, Admiral. Get your crew back in order. There we go. Oh no, that was just a regular critical hit.
To spread the greater good.
Drones have identified an enemy target.
Oh, never mind. Aw. Well, that was not satisfying at all. Now I just feel like a dick.
Drones
And
have
all I did was
identified
literally
enemy
fly
target.
towards
You
them,
have
dang it.
accumulated 25% of strategic points.
I could not have done a easier type of fleet or maneuver. I didn't even use my demiurge. It's a shame, because yeah, Mechanicus get punished really hard there. Since again, I said how just by default they're basically missing one cruiser, just because of how much more expensive their ships are. And the crew, of course, because I think I only did one boarding, and on top of the weapon critical hits, we basically killed off a third of that battleship's crew from the crew war spear alone. Alright, so if we face them again, how can I make this interesting? Because Mechanicus is not an easy fleet for a newcomer, just because again, that fleet was falling apart just because I was getting close to them, and they didn't know about the Nova cannons at all. Is my solution everything to be jump over to orcs because it gives me less to control with? Is that really going to be my answer to everything? Because sure, it makes a mess of a match, but it'll probably end up the same as what we just saw there. So let me play with the Dauntlesses some more, I guess. Assuming we get the same opponent. I do hope this is not the stream where I become legendary, though. What's good for a newcomer? Well, Imperial Navy and Chaos are, I suppose, perceived to be the easiest to start off with. Although Chaos is harder because they don't really have the burst damage that kills things quickly. And Imperial Navy can be a lot of fun. Just 6 cruiser type of fleets, even just all battleships can do work for you. It's a lot harder to win with 4 retributions, but it's as simple as you can be, since you don't have to rely so much on high energy turn, because your ships cannot use the high energy turn maneuver, and they grab points ridiculously fast as well. It does work sometimes. I don't see it very often. Otherwise, if you want raw firepower, there's the 6 Avenger fleet. It has a bit of a liability in that they're all short range weaponry, comboed with the kind of average slower speed of Imperial Navy. So you could stall quite heavily against more mobile fleets if you can't get your broadside weapons to bear, especially since you don't have heavy armor on the prow and you don't have torpedoes like with the 6 Tyrant fleets, which is the other one. It's kind of I suppose the simplest to get into. Yeah, you can get oh wow, you can get 7 Tyrants in this fleet. No frigates though, which is a bit of a problem, but you can get 7 Tyrants if you so wished. You know, what I might do is jump back into my Lance Imperial Navy fleet before I end off this stream. At least I'll have a little bit of fun with that. It promotes a little bit of control and awareness for me, since it's not like all Armageddons after all. I do have the Apocalypse, which fairly rarely even gets to use its Nova cannons unless it's going up against Eldari. But we'll see what we come up against. I'm just afraid of intimidating and scaring off our opponents, because that does not help with the multiplayer player base after all. But other than that, what do I plan on doing next? I kind of want to play with Massive Claw Tyranids again. I will be honest. That is a lot of fun if it works. You just run them down and eat everything. Quite literally. It's easier said than done just because of some of how the mechanics and AI works. Because you can't reliably get multiple ships to kind of ram and rush down the same ship without them messing with each other's pathing. Oh, this might be fun. We're gonna see how a Dauntless holds up to harassing and running down some Eldari ships. Yep, 900 are playing, but how many of them are playing single player is the question. And to be perfectly honest, it shows the name, your Twitch name, in all yellow, so I can't actually read what your name is if I were to be honest. So I have to actually alt-tab to read to go to Banana Joe. Okay, there we go. It's still yellow, but thank God for a night theme on my dashboard, or desktop rather, because I probably wouldn't be able to read it on what is it, Chrome either. So long as they enjoy the single player and all that, that's all I could really ask for. Because then it at least keeps them around, and it keeps the player base in general healthier. Because like I said at the very beginning, multiplayer is really damn intimidating, so I do not fault any of you for not wanting to play multiplayer. It's just that the more we can have playing a single player at least, the more it hopefully increases the incentive for an Armada 3 in the future. Hopefully. Hopefully. Do I want Kulex's Assassin? Because I can use that to start breaking down their... Oh, I need a mission dissipator. Who am I kidding? We're dealing with Eldari after all. Triple Phoenix Eldari at that. So my battleships are basically seeing ducks, but they have so much shield health that it probably doesn't matter.
Engaging engines. We wait your command.
So yeah, by all means, hit me with that beacon.
Setting course.
It'll serve as good bait. Wait,
The enemy has seized a strategic area.
I was wondering why you wouldn't let me use my all-head full. It was grayed out there for a moment. This is not a good sign.
Changing course.
This is not a good sign. We have some weird, latency going on here.
Ship ready.
And I'm trying to decipher what's causing that, because my ping is 38, so I want to say it's my our opponent's computer maybe not being able to handle the game, maybe. Let's just watch for that more.
The enemy has seized a strategic
Oh, and I'm
area.
turning the wrong way
You have
too. I want to
seized
grab
a
this
strategic
objective.
area. The enemy has seized a strategic area.
So if that doesn't speak to me of 3 Phoenixes, I don't know what does. Oh, and they have a light cruiser over there too, so...
We serve.
Setting course.
Alright. By all means.
Enemy sighted. Fury interceptors in flight.
We serve.
I have fighters, so
Coordinates acknowledged.
let's just make them pay.
Execute high energy
Because your
target.
bombers are not going to do crap, I'm afraid to say.
Ship ready. Coordinates acknowledged.
Oh, those are bad torpedoes too, but...
Vector. We wait your command. Reporting successful boarding action.
More torpedoes, make them panic! Welcome to Eldari! It is not for the faint of heart, trust me. Because once things get intense, your fleet's gonna fall apart.
Heading acknowledged.
Oh. Phew.
Course engaged.
So this is not gonna be pretty.
Internal damage.
Because we dealt with 3 Phoenixes pretty much in a hurry.
interceptors in flight.
Now we could just quite literally ram this thing to death.
Engaging
And we have the
engines.
speed to do it in all honesty.
Your orders?
Although those are bad torpedo shots, aren't they?
Course engaged.
You have accumulated 25% of strategic points.
Sorry, fella. Ooh,
Aye, Admiral.
that was brutal. Yeah, it can be tricky just because of the real-time aspect of it, even for the campaign. But once you have a good sense on how the AI functions, at least in the campaign or just AI skirmishes, it becomes a lot easier for you, because then you can manipulate how they behave. But when you have to deal with torpedoes, bombers, anything like that, oh wow. Oh yeah, you were here since season 1. I forgot about that. So, and I'm pretty certain that's my rank. That's another bug that was never fixed. So they're not really that high rank. It just places my rank over theirs. So, I'm scratching my head on how I should feel about that match. Jeez. That was a mess. Ooh, tabletop campaign of Battlefleet Gothic. Yeah, I never did play the tabletop, to be honest. I did play a tablet version of Battlefleet Gothic Leviathan, which had only the Imperial Navy, Chaos, Necrons, and yeah, and the Tyranids there. Just those 4 factions, so I got a rough idea on how the tabletop works, but when it's all automated like that, it's hard to know why something happened as it did. But I wasn't expecting that much of a stomp with Triple Phoenix. Don't get me wrong there, but do I dare go with the Massive Claw build again and see if we can make this work? I want to play with it because it's going to be a lot of fun, but is it a good idea? Because there are a lot of nuances you need to keep in mind with Massive Claw, just kind of like I hinted at already. The pathing can really mess up if you're trying to get multiple ships to clamp onto one of their cruisers. So, you can easily shoot yourself in the foot really quickly. Ooh, that's good to hear. That is good to hear. Blitzkrieg. I encountered you before way back when. I just can't remember. Were you the one that had like 3 battleships? Or not? That's what I'm trying to remember, so I know what to expect. Glory to the hive mind. If I want to be honest, my absolute favorite of the Tyranid fleets is just the Strangle Tentacle fleet, where I just bored them to oblivion, with nothing but really tentacles, and probably just Krakens mostly if I can get away with it. Now, try and remember how I grouped these. 2 Krakens per fleet, I believe it was. So group 3 there, group 1, and I gotta keep in mind I have a drone, don't I? So that's group 1. Oh, we have an extra Kraken too. Now, another thing I'm curious about with Tyranids. Was that dang rush bug where it sometimes can be heard and sometimes is silent, was that ever fixed? Because that is a bug in the game. Mostly just because of how inconsistent it is. Not so much the fact that you can hear it or it's silent. I would be fine if it was one or the other. It's the fact that it keeps switching is the problem. And we are dealing with Mechanicus. Oh yeah, and I'm immune to asteroid belts. Who am I kidding? So I could just happily deploy here. And we'll put you with the rest of the fleet here. Okay, that's Salt Rushes. So, It's always a question if my opponent can hear that or not, though. Because for all I know, their version, it could be audible, and I could accidentally be shooting myself in the foot, if that's the case. That's the one thing I was never certain of. If it's silent for me, is it silent for my opponent, because they're currently the host. But either way, I try and make it a habit not to rush for that reason alone. So that way it gets rid of the guesswork. And as soon as I get in close, this is going to be brutal. Yeah, since, well, 5 cruisers, they could still have frigates. So I should just side strafe with my, at least devours, to keep them from getting revealed with the rest of the fleet. Because in all honesty, I shouldn't be going directly at him anyway, to help minimize getting spotted. Pretty light show. I apologize to the YouTube viewers because this is terrible for the quality of the YouTube version. It always is. Aw, my opponent's giving me a light show for us. It's fireworks. So early in the weekend. Well, I guess if you're European or Asian, it's actually evening or getting close to the middle of the night. But please, more fireworks.
Seized a strategic area.
And we just played a patient game. Yeah, 6 p.m. because GMT, so UTC, that's basically 4-5 hours ahead of me there. So yeah. In the Asian group, it's pretty much the middle of the night for them. So what are you watching my stream for, Dark Assassin? Go eat already. Oh god. If it wasn't for the fact that he was blindly firing before, I almost would call that hacks. That he almost hit me. I almost want to, just for the fun of it, but we know he's just blindly firing. Oh yeah, and I kind of forgot about my spork fields. I should have done that too. At least it helps set up for something.
You have seized a strategic
Nom nom nom.
area.
You had to really get 2 fire assaults on me immediately? Wow. I know they're frigates, but this is a little overkill. 4 fire assaults. Fine, be that way, you jerk. I'm gonna nom on you some more and you can't do anything about it. Oh my god, that was like a perfect spore cloud too that is shot. At first I thought that was my frigate that died, because when they die they do that as well.
The enemy has seized a strategic area.
This is not going to be pretty, folks. Gotta be mindful, this is the flagship, so it is a liability if it gets killed. And this is where the pathing can kind of mess up too some, if I'm not careful, which is why you sometimes need to rush to force it. Alright, just hide, conceal yourself, and deal with our friends in a moment. And if the flagship can turn around, that'd be nice. Yes, take me with you. If I'm going down, I'm taking you with me, you cursed thing. No, what did I just say? What did I goddamn just say? You are not being a very nice Mechanicus morsel. My entire fleet's here. Most of it's dying, of course, but that's kind of a given when I recklessly go in there one at a time. It's the price you pay for trying to spread out and cause pure anarchy with this fleet.
Has accumulated 25% of strategic points.
Now, Let's get another spore field in here. Come on, can it make it? I believe in you, little fella. Although I just killed it, didn't I? I believed in it, but the Kraken didn't. In fact, I think the Kraken got jealous. Now I gotta be careful. My shields are down, that's fine. Let's at least kill one of you. Because I can hide in a gas cloud really easily.
You have accumulated 25% of strategic points.
Finish him. No, you're not running away. You look like an edible treat for my Kraken. Stimpy wants to eat you. Come back! Come back! No, don't vent your exhaust on me. Fine. I'll just eat this other ship. It's about to die, so then I can conceal my cruiser. There. Now 2 of my cruisers are hidden. And I suppose we should get you grabbing the point. I'm having too much fun with my food. I'm playing with my food too much, what can I say? Now, finish that flagship. Let me actually just recharge.
You have accumulated
No, that's spine sacks.
50% of
There it is.
strategic points.
So that recharges my micro warp jump in case this gets ugly. A little bit more. A little more. Eat it. It also has an animation if I can get close enough for it. Aw, I'm not seeing animation. I was hoping to chomp on that saying stern. It is fun, it is satisfying. And for this fleet to really work,
The enemy has
it needs to sow complete
50% of
anarchy.
strategic points.
Because you can't conveniently just run down a single ship and kill it immediately. For multiple reasons. So the best way to counteract that is to try and hit their entire fleet at once. So again, mass chaos, mass anarchy, and it splits their fire quite heavily too. But it's always fun when it works. Every other time it seems like you're doing absolutely nothing because you don't really have any ranged weaponry to fight back. Now I do want to play more Space Marines, but the only Space Marine fleets I have are double battle barge, a hybrid, or 6 cruisers. Unless I want to play with vanguards, I know I talked about light cruisers, but I don't feel optimistic about light cruisers honestly. At least the vanguards. Because they only have 2 charges of their boarding abilities. These guys are supposed to win by killing the crew normally, or at least crippling them. And their weaponry, their macro weaponry is terrible. And they can't even capture points as well as battleships, so... Am I really going to commit to this? How many can I actually get with that SID? I can only get 6, so I'm not really benefiting, am I now? I'm hurting my boarding more than just going with 6 cruisers. Where really all I'm benefiting is... Well, I do have fighter bays. It's only 1 squadron is the problem. So they basically die immediately. Compared to like 2 squadrons of like a regular cruiser. Might as well. If I'm going to be an underdog, this is the way to be an underdog, I suppose. But I'll never play it again, because it's probably going to go badly. Unless I want to go frigates. That gives me a couple of boarding torpedoes, I guess. Yes, I get a lot more points with the hunters, at least, but... I can't get anything else in, is the problem. So it doesn't help me as much as I like to think. Unfortunately, if I could fill it out with all frigates, ideally that would be good. But I'm missing 60 points. I'm just wondering how... I could upgrade the Gladiuses or Novas, but that doesn't help with the boarding at all. Alright, we'll just stick with the 6 Vanguard then. I don't know what that the name is supposed to reference, but I'm going with it anyway. And I think Raven Guard are stealthiest potentially of the group. Or at least they're about lightning strikes. Kind of like White Scars, I guess. Now, what would be good upgrades for them? Emission Dissipator, Colexus Assassin can be great if I can cripple a deck, though. It of course comes down to what we're up against. That's always the case. Yeah, what are we gonna get? What are we gonna get? Oh, it's Blitzkrieg again. I'm gonna get demolished this time, am I? Well, yeah, because if they were Mechanicus, I would say I probably have a realistic chance to win, because again, they only have 5 cruisers with poor crew complement. This may not go as well. The main reason I'm gonna have problems is because they can get the objectives so much faster than me. It's the simple truth of the matter. So I might have to try splitting up, because even if I have all my ships grabbing the same point, there's still a diminishing return on it. Because I tested before, 5 light cruisers, which theoretically should capture an objective as fast as a battleship, still grab it in half the time because of that diminishing return for multiple ships grabbing points. Now it's a question of what the heck would be good skills for this fleet. Because I only have 2 charges otherwise, so I'm thinking of the ones that have unlimited charges. The ones that only have 2 charges are kind of pointless, I want to argue. But none of them really benefit.
All power to engine.
Alright, are you in the gas cloud or not?
Show us the enemy.
Hold course.
We will know pretty soon, I guess, what's going on here. Alright, so there is sub-assault running. It did hit the debris here, because that moved. We just have no clue what it was that hit
You have
it.
seized a strategic area.
And I'm not going to launch fighters. This is going to be a weird game of light cruiser, light cruiser.
The enemy has seized a strategic area. The enemy has seized a
So if they're going to be
strategic
spread
area.
out, the best way I could take advantage of that is
You
to
have seized a strategic area.
clamp down on a portion of their fleet
Moving to position.
while they are separated.
We stand ready.
Underway.
And while I'm at it, I should fire beacons as a little bit of early warning and protection.
We stand ready. Hold course.
I hear him here, but is he flying away or is he actually coming towards
Give
me?
us purpose. I am listening.
It's kind of what I'm wondering.
In sight.
There we go.
Repositioning.
And it's all lances too, interestingly.
Launch Thunderhawks.
Redirecting.
Sadly, that is not a good skill to use.
Command.
That is not a skill you want for assault running, I'm afraid to say. Augur Disruptor did not do a whole lot there.
listening. Full speed.
Alright, let's try and cripple these things quickly then. This was not the match I was expecting.
Engines engaged.
And keep in mind they are prow lances, so they can actually hurt my ships pretty quickly.
Engines engaged.
Enemy in sight.
Boring torpedoes connect.
To where we are needed.
Connect and board.
Enemy in sight.
At your command.
Halt, advance.
That is impossible.
Repositioning.
Yeah, you need to get your prow focus on my ships as much as possible to at least kill them quickly.
Our rock cannot be denied.
Can I do... Yeah, sadly again, that Auger Disruptor does nothing because I already have them revealed.
Hold course.
Where shall we strike?
Engines down, so this is going to be a mess in a moment.
Show us the enemy.
And it killed one of my light cruisers, so 1 for 1, not probably a worthwhile trade.
Give us purpose.
Where shall we strike? Engines engaged.
Now, can I fire more boring torpedoes on this flagship?
Boarding caused critical damage. Boarding success.
And I also got to keep my eye on what's my flagship for the Kulexis Assassin.
Our rock cannot be denied. Give us purpose. To where we are needed. Show us the enemy.
Come on, boarding. Boarding, what can I board?
Boarding caused critical
Ideally, that cripples their ships.
underway.
Boarding caused critical damage.
Because I'm not... Well, my boarding's getting focused, but now it's starting to get a little bit panicked. If only a little bit.
Where shall we strike? Launch Thunderhawks.
And thankfully the boarding dare connected, but I think it's too little too late. This ship's about to die.
Where shall we strike?
Moving to position.
I am listening. Hold course.
To where we are needed.
And there's no way I could board those final ships there. They just outnumber me 2 to 1, pretty much. Even with me, like, isolating and trying to kill them. Half their fleet.
Accumulated 25% of strategic.
Because now I'm down to 2 ships, and there's not enough damage for me.
We stand ready. Underway. Where shall we strike? I am listening.
Yeah, it's crippling their ships nicely, but I still have to deal with 3 other cruisers.
Engines engaged.
Is a bit of the problem.
Give us purpose. At your command.
Yep, that wasn't what I wanted. I wanted to launch bombers there.
Show us the enemy.
This is pretty much over here, alas.
Give us purpose.
The enemy has accumulated 50%.
Probably should have gone straight for killing blow with the dumbfire torpedoes, maybe.
Halt, advance.
Eh, well. Another demonstration why I was not really optimistic for this fleet. Because I have no actual weaponry outside the torpedoes, or even the prow lances aren't all that impressive. My prow lances are just straight up weaker than their prow lances, even if I were to use them. I'm gonna have to double check that to be sure, though. Never mind the fact that I had less ships. I was outnumbered 2 to 1, so 16 damage versus their 24? Or was it 32? If it's 32, then it's technically the same damage then. But again, I'm outnumbered 2 to 1, so that probably doesn't make much of a difference. Okay then. So I do slightly more damage with those lances. Okay, that's convenient. Still was not having enough power there either way. Because they still have the turrets on top to complement those lances, where the vanguards, I had the bombers, but I was running out of steam quickly with how many ships there were. And keep in mind, I engaged half their fleet there, so you figured I could have at least cleaned them up. But no, I didn't get to kill them quickly enough, or at least cripple them enough. So now let's just give them... Let's just go with the... No, that's vanguards. We don't want that anymore. I'm just trying to find my 6-cruiser fleet. At least this is different, since all the other Space Marine fleets just like their prow lances, so they can chase things down really effectively. Oh yeah, and I don't even want that. Yeah, vanguards are pretty pricey, mainly because they have the carriers, the hangar bays. And even then, the hangar bays are only one squadron, so they get shot down so ridiculously fast. Never mind the fact they only have 2 charges now, where before they did have 3 charges way back when. Alright, Ashan, I want to say I recognize that name from somewhere. I just don't know from where. But we have probably one of my main Space Marine fleets, so it's been a while since I used it, so I could mismanage it poorly. And I have the carrier, yeah, I have the carrier strike cruiser, so I have no frigates for this fleet. So this is where Augur Disruptor could have been amazing, because I have no scanner pulses or anything to spot them on my terms, and even then, because he was silent running, that Augur Disruptor bomb is useless. It's supposed to prevent me from detecting ships that aren't hidden with the silent running. So even then, they really need to change skills, is basically what I'm trying to say. Otherwise, we'll try and split the fleet up for a bit and see what we're up against. I'm wondering if I don't think I want to boost in case they're like lance base. They're definitely a carrier base, so I want to group up for that reason alone. Now where are they going?
We stand ready.
I might as well just go hide in the gas cloud then. At least to burn off their bombers. Assuming that the second squad are bombers. Completely unnecessary, probably. I just didn't deploy myself in a good spot for this.
The enemy has seized a strategic area. You have seized a strategic area.
At least this fleet can easily hide itself. I wasn't paying attention if the other 2 ships were bombers, though.
Give us purpose. To where we are needed.
If I'm able to launch boarding torpedoes on them, though, with them spread out, I could do a decent amount of damage. Because the battleship would take so long to turn. And there's a beacon there to complicate things slightly.
Engines engaged.
That was probably unnecessary, because those could have been just 2 fighter squadrons, and I could have got, like, potentially killed off their charges.
Moving to position.
I just don't have a lot of cover, it's a problem to deal with a dedicated carrier fleet.
The enemy has seized a strategic
I do have the
area.
mobility, though. I can outrun and kite them, but that works best when my fleet is all together, though. Yeah, okay, that justifies it. They had 2 other, they're all carrier ships, is what that tells me. And actually,
Show us the enemy.
they're only assault boats, so... And they did reveal me anyway. I want to actually kill those ships, or fighters, when they get recalled.
We stand ready.
Alright, so, brace for impact is set. We have a gas cloud here I could use. And I'm hopefully waiting for them to get recalled so I could shoot them down.
Repositioning.
And then we'll work our way to this third
Give us
objective.
purpose.
Down you go, you little things, you dang pods.
You have
They're not
seized
even
a
fighters, they're
strategic area.
basically just floating pods that go across the entire map. Don't ask me how they have that much fuel,
Show
but
us
they
the
do.
enemy.
Okay, you're launching all your fighters now, so this time I need to be ready
Stand
for them.
ready.
Actually,
Halt, advance!
yeah, I could just go to this gas cloud. Although since they launched them in the gas cloud, I can't actually see where they're going.
All power to engines!
So just to
Repositioning.
remove them from the equation. Hopefully, if I'm fast enough.
Where shall we strike? Where shall we strike?
If they were after the flagship, or at least those ships, then at least they're safe now. I just don't want to burn too much of my combustion gauge in case I'm wrong. There. Just shoot them down.
Moving to position.
Although this beacon's going to be annoying, and I have no cover now. Although I should just get ready to go straight at them, with that said. Because so long as these fighters are out, they can't actually bomb me or do anything, so I actually have window to just get aggressive.
Engines engaged.
I just got, well, sadly they're in the gas cloud, so I have no idea if they ever are getting recalled, though. And they're just hiding this gas cloud, so I'm not really threatened just yet. So let me just steal their point from them. I really should be just diving their fleet, I suppose, while they have no bombers available.
Repositioning.
But let's at least make sure they don't have a point, that have something to fall back on. Because those bombers can still eviscerate my cruisers immediately with, what is it, I'm missing 400 points compared to Imperial Navy cruisers, so...
You have seized a strategic area.
And yeah, just fire the regular dumbfire torpedoes, that'll prompt the response.
Advance!
Yeah, they did recall their fighters, that's... and I didn't get to see that coming.
Halt, advance!
At your command. Give us purpose.
Shoot down the fighters. Sure, it didn't do much, but at least it reveals them for me.
Repositioning.
And I would love to board that ship.
Show us the enemy. Underway. That is impossible.
Probably should have waited for the broadside boarding, I suppose, but
Strike quickly,
Nope.
brothers.
you burnt your cold arms there, sadly.
I am listening. Hold course. Where shall we strike? To where we are needed. Give us purpose.
Engines engaged!
Ah, dang it, you burnt all your combustion gauge, didn't you? Yeah.
Halt, advance!
That caught me completely off guard there.
Engines engaged.
I was hoping to hit this battleship with a bunch of
Moving
boarding,
to position.
and I messed it up.
Teleport attack successful.
Our wrath cannot be denied!
So I do have brace for impact, I should be okay.
Strategic points.
Ideally, let me just stay behind the battleship so it can't do a lot of damage to
At your
me.
command. Our wrath cannot be denied.
Yeah, and you're already mutinied with a deck gone, so that was the fastest takeout of a ship.
All servitors and tech marines begin repairs!
Now you two deal with our ship there. Once you get your angle for a boring torpedo.
New vector acknowledged.
I am listening.
Alright, not the most impressive boarding, but... Oh yeah, they missed completely. Boo.
Boarding successful.
Oh, you rallied. Although, they don't have a lot of ships left to them, so... Or a lot of crew left, so hopefully I can knock them out if I'm lucky enough.
Boarding caused critical damage. Hold course.
Nope, that was called arms, dang it. That was not what I wanted. Still effective boarding, though.
Repositioning.
These two are vulnerable to just getting bombed, though, if I'm not careful.
Quite quickly, brothers. We stand ready. Show us the enemy.
And you just need a regular boarding to kill that crew there.
Underway.
So I think we're good.
Give us purpose.
I am listening.
Yep, Drifting Hulk. You are basically going to be a Drifting Hulk. Oh god, that's a moving scuttle Drifting Hulk. They're the worst kind.
Boarding caused critical damage.
Run away, run away!
Moving to position.
And that crew should die momentarily, so...
Be denied.
Can we board this one battleship now? Yes, we can. That crew is gone.
Accumulated 50% of strategic points.
Our rock cannot be denied.
Well, that was simple. It's just the fact that I couldn't see when the fighters were being recalled. That could have gone really badly for me there for a moment. Thankfully, they didn't immediately kill one of my cruisers, with that said. I don't think had a fighter screen, so I got to do maximum damage to the bombers and the boarding ships. Alright, so that's my Space Marine itch kind of out of the way. Well, I'm kind of lying because I want to play with Double Battle Barge. I kind of still want to play with Double Battle Barge, but we'll save that for later. Although, I basically played with every single fleet outside of Chaos, so... I guess I'll play with the carrier fleet some more. And hopefully we don't give a newer player a bad time if we run into them. At the very least, we can demonstrate how to maybe get the most out of these bombers, depending on the matchup, of course. Yeah, let's see, bronze. Well, again, it was showing my rank probably over his ranking. There's a weird bug where it just shows the higher ranked players standing, or at least the host's highest rank, which doesn't really tell you a whole lot there. Not that the ranking matters so much. The queues at this point just goes with whoever's available with a very tiny delay. It used to be that it would try to match based on the ranking, but there's not really enough players to allow for that anymore. At least in the multiplayer. And there's our Ashham fella again. So carrier fleet versus carrier fleet, and they have bigger guns. So I'm actually, at a glance, I'm actually the underdog here because I have corn, as opposed to like something that would be useful, like a Siege or Slanesh. So let's see if we can make this work somehow. Because from what we've seen, they have no frigates. So it just comes down to my ability to outmaneuver them and hopefully just grab the objectives better. What is a good second upgrade though? Do I even need extended sensor range? Well, asteroid navigational shields might be useful for deflecting fighters, but I say that, and the entire map's almost completely gas clouds. So that doesn't do much good either. How can we win this if it's the exact same fleas we already encountered? Because the only thing I have going for me is speed, which actually means I could just outrun their fighters for a good amount of time. I might as well take the extend sensors maybe, because at least then the frigates don't... They can reveal them in a gas cloud a little bit better.
Setting course.
And they are separated, so let's take advantage of this.
Swift Death Squadron.
Although this might not work as well, because the bombers are probably still going to get caught with the fighters.
Show us our victims.
Well, let's at least give it a try. I can at least recall them as soon as they get snared.
Unstoppable.
And they do have a beacon. I did not pay attention to that. Where is the beacon?
Show us our victims.
Where's your
You
beacon?
have
I heard
seized
it.
a strategic area.
Engines hot.
I think the best thing I could do is try and, again, grab them while they're separated. Even if they are Grand Cruisers and battleships.
Slaughter.
If I can at least kill one of them, that helps me so much in the fighter game. For just overwhelming them.
Moving to those coordinates. For the war
And
master.
hopefully... Yeah, I'm going to reveal them before they get to the gas cloud. But I think my bombers are going to get snared, sadly. Yeah, there's 2 fighter squadrons there, so I'm going to have to recall them.
The enemy has seized a strategic
I need to
area.
save those bombers.
Moving to those coordinates.
Fighters I'm not too worried about, but it looks like they have all 4 fighter squadrons there.
We are unstoppable.
So let's still take advantage of this numbers advantage.
As the war master wills.
I did lose my
We
fighters,
stand
sadly.
ready. Your orders. Enemy ship sighted.
And if anything, I can wait till I kill.
We'll follow your command. For now.
Yeah, I
The
could just
enemy
wait
has
till I kill
seized a
those fighters.
strategic area.
Show us our victims. Engines hot. For the
And
Royal
ideally, I would like to
Stars.
wait till those fighters get recalled,
Reporting.
if it's at all possible.
Setting course. We stand ready. Doomfire's unleashed.
So that way I can maximize my damage here.
Dark gods. For the ruinous powers. Retros activated.
And these Grand Cruisers going slower than my bombers, but I don't think it's gonna do enough in time, because apparently my bombers are trapped with their fighters.
Moving to those coordinates. Warp strike successful, Master. Engines hot. Retros activated. Reporting. We are unstoppable. Retros activated.
Now I have fighters, I can at least deal with these
We'll
pretty
follow your
quickly.
command. For now.
I just need to kill this Grand Cruiser though, and the problem there
Show us our victims.
is my bombers are gonna get snared.
Swift Death Squadron seeking prey. We stand ready.
So get to safety,
As the War Master
let the
wills.
bombers do their thing, hopefully. Although bombers again got snared by the fighters, so that's not as much damage as I would have liked.
Retros activated. For the War Master.
Because I'm probably not going to win this fight otherwise if I don't kill
For
something
the
now.
ruinous powers. Fear us, for
And
we
apparently my
strike from the
okay, my
war.
bombers finally actually got their bombing run in, but it's too little too late.
Retros activated. Your orders. Setting course.
If I can get behind the battleship to help some.
to those coordinates. Our minions rampage through their ship.
Alright, so that ship's probably gone, but they have fighters now.
Swift death squadron seeking prey.
We have a little bit of momentum,
Show us our
because
victim.
they're panicking and they're not launching fighters at all at this point.
Set engines to full ahead.
Although, dang it, my flagship's kind of out of the fight now. But that damage hopefully helps make up for it some.
We are unstoppable.
Although I'm doing a terrible job again controlling my frigates, which are probably could be a bit of an equalizer.
As the War Master wills,
Nope, he repaired the fire assaults.
we'll follow your command. For
And I
now,
kind of want them to kill the crew of the flagship so I can have it reactivate.
your orders. As the War Master wills.
Meanwhile, just take advantage of them poorly utilizing their fighters.
Show us our
Because I can
victims.
outrun these fighters some.
We stand ready. Engines hot. Doomfire's unleashed.
Since that's what I damaged, I want to try and kill it.
Let the
If it's at all
galaxy
possible.
burn. For the War Master. Moving to those coordinates.
Although, I'm losing steam quickly now. That thing needs to die in the next bomber salvo or I might lose this.
Executing high energy turn. For the ruinous powers.
And what I was going to do is have the bombers, or the frigates, launch some torpedoes to help.
Setting course.
And not just use them as torpedoes.
Stand ready.
I don't think it did very much, sadly. Ah, dang it, bad time for a mutiny.
Setting course. Show us our victims.
The enemy has accumulated 25% of strategic points. You have accumulated
I don't think I can win this now unless I blindly launch bombers. Oh no, another mutiny. Never mind.
We are unstoppable.
I'm doing a bad job keeping an eye on my encouraging speech.
Doomfire's unleashed. For the War Master.
So yeah. And they're what? Still 600 hit points, so even going after a Grand Cruiser probably would not have made the difference there. I want to try and isolate them and get early momentum since they were spread out after all. It didn't work out. Because I could have just outlasted them probably if I kept my distance. Since they were using their fighters poorly, so they could have ran out a lot of steam just from letting me kill off all their fighters or their bombers and assault ships. We'll give this another try. Give it a win to justify, although the sensor upgrade didn't really help all that much, did it? Well, maybe it did because it does mark them for about 45 seconds when they're in close, but if I had those torpedoes launched while the fighters were distracted at point defense, that would have been an additional 200, what is it? It's about 90 damage before armor, so it would have been about 180 damage for each torpedo salvo with the two frigates. And that could have made a big difference there. I just keep forgetting about those poor little guys. But it was an uphill fight anyway, because again, at that kind of close range, they should overpower me. They have one additional bomber, because the battleship has 5 squadrons as opposed to 4. They have more weaponry, of course, because all I got are turrets. And of course more hit points too. Never mind the fact that it's harder to critically hit them as well. So that was an uphill fight no matter what I did. We'll see if we get the same opponent or not, though. I'm gonna guess no, or they already got a match. Which is probably the case. How many players are on? It's holding steady basically, so it hasn't gone up that much more. So it's not, what is it, the 1300 we had last week. Like I said though, if it can retain its numbers, or at least keep as healthy as possible, then that helps possibly for the future of the game for Armada 3. Because Tindalos could be doing more DLC for Armada 2 if they want to make more money. I know the pandemic and everything makes that a little more difficult, but they're probably working on something. I just couldn't tell you what. Because in all honesty, why wouldn't they? Outside of going bankrupt, if that's a possibility or not. I couldn't tell you. Although, look, I think it's safe to say we're not going to get the same opponent, though. With that said, that is probably as many carrier ships as you could probably get with that fleet. What was it? It was a despoiler and 3 retaliators. And keep in mind, I didn't think about it until just now. These are actually incredibly short-range weapons. In all honesty, I actually had better long-range firepower because I had a higher speed to keep them at a distance. And the spoiler basically can only really hit me if its prow is facing towards me with this quad-barrel heavy lance cannon. So I could have won that if I played it the normal way. Yeah, I really do like those 2 skins they did with World of Warships, I will be honest. Because I enjoyed that game a bit. I played mostly the Android phone because really, I just want some kind of like pseudo RTS, I guess you could say, for my phone. And the aircraft carrier kind of played that well enough for a bit. I only got to like, what, tier 6 or maybe tier 7 aircraft carrier? I can't remember before I lost interest. Because it is a bit limiting on what you can do with that. But it was fun enough considering it was a mobile phone. I am just eager to see what they have in mind. And I do want to try a couple more matches before I hop off. We're going about 3 hours, so this stream without a doubt is a success. I want to say anyway. Can we get more opponents though? Which again, they're probably likely already in a queue, considering we weren't waiting very long up to this point, so we're probably just stuck waiting for them to finish their match. Oh well. I'm just trying to think, how do I want to finish off? Do I finally satisfy my craving with double battle barge or not? I suppose I could go double tomb ships, but I try to avoid playing with double tomb ships though, honestly. I don't like top-heavy type of fleets in general because it feels like it can be a crutch when you're not able to be as mobile, which is definitely a big element to this game, but it can make it very intimidating for all the newer players coming in, when I can just high energy turn to dodge torpedoes or outrun their fighters and bombers. What do we get? What do we get? Did they drop? Did they lose connection? Because normally it's about 20 seconds in when we normally get an opponent. So I think they lost connection or something crashed. I used the mouse cursor to know if they loaded or not because it would freeze basically or stop moving on me when they finally load in. So there's a method to my madness. So they just basically disconnected, I think, or is crashed. So they'll fairly likely be back. Although with that said, with the Stig fleet, I'm sure Corn is not the best way to go about this, but Yeah, because really Siege could be useful, but ideally I want to do some rapid bombing damage. There's enough bomber potential to kill light cruisers and cruisers almost immediately, depending on the circumstance. And because of that, I sometimes want to get in close. So that way, wait. Am I really that close to Legendary with Chaos? Don't you lie to me, game. Am I seriously that close to Legendary ranking? Wow, I never looked at that. That I was not expecting, considering I just lost, keep in mind. The 4 Chaos factions, basically they get a new skill and a new ability. There's nothing basic, there's nothing different otherwise, but the main problem it has is there's almost no reason not to pick the Emperor's Children, Death Guard, Thousand Sons, or World Eaters because you just have extra options available to you. Even if you never use them, just having that convenience justifies taking those factions. So I would love to play as Alpha Legion more, but then I miss out on the Winds of Change for Siege here, even if I don't plan on using it depending on the matchup. Otherwise, there's no real difference outside of cosmetics. And Thousand Sons, all those 4 Ruinous Powers have drastically looking ships. Although, because of that, I probably just missed out on my match, didn't I? Just have a look at it. Pretty bland, generic. Actually, let's go with Black Legion. That's more generic. We're more familiar with Black Legion and Abaddon. Now, just have a look at it when we throw the Thousand Sons on there. It's mostly a couple of pillars, but then this gets even more drastic with the Emperor's Children and Death Guard. Imagine there's some way they can make some good money for this game. Just cosmetic skins for some of these ships. Whether it's for the campaign or otherwise. Because Chaos is definitely the most egregious, the most extreme example of cosmetic changes. Even if it's very minor texture stuff here, like maybe Nurgle. You could definitely see the difference though. And then World Eaters is a lot of spikes. Who would have thought? And then we're back to regular bland looking ships. So there's one way they can make some decent money. Sure, there's not enough people in multiplayer, so you would have to make it work for single player as well to at least, well, I don't know if it has that much incentive though. I'm not really someone who cares all that much about cosmetic skins, but there were in Armada 1 there were cosmetic skins for all the factions in there because of favors. You could bestow an Imperial Navy ship with the favor of the Inquisition or the Adeptus Mechanicus who are not in the game, and it would give them a completely different look. Not as drastic as Chaos as I just showed you though, but a perfect example of what they could do maybe, whether it's for Armada 3 or even for Armada 2. There are ideas in there. It's just a question of what Tinslus is doing and if they're willing to try and take advantage of it, although it could be argued it may be too late now for Armada 2, since we are basically sitting at about a year since the last DLC expansion, which was the Chaos campaign. And because of that rant, we probably missed out on a match. Although, I'll just have a quick look at 2v2. I don't even know what these fleets are anymore. Chances are these aren't even updated for the 1,000-point fleet, are they? Nope, the Slaughter fleet is, so I'll just give that a quick try. Maybe if we could organize a 2v2, that's always possible. We have like 10 people watching. We can always all jump in here and do a 2v2. Since sadly 2v2 probably never gets a real match in, sadly. But otherwise, I fear 2v2 is mostly dead. It's hard enough with 1v1 matches outside the prime time. 2v2 without doubt suffers more from that, even though it also helps alleviate a lot of the anxiety and tension that 1v1 causes. Well. That's something up with enough viewers, it's something I could realistically kind of have everyone try for a 2v2 just to fool around. At least have a 2v2 match happening. Otherwise, if I wasn't streaming, I don't think it would be possible. Or if I ever would get a 2v2 match, though. It is a lot of fun, though. 2v2 is definitely fun when it happens. And it's pretty much that time where we're pretty much past the prime hour anyway for at least the Asian group, since it's like the middle of the night for them now. So I think we have a lot less people playing maybe at this point, but again, it's like I said, they were probably in the middle of a match. And I just cost myself a match by going on that rant with the cosmetic skin and everything. But we're good. We're good now. What do we get? Sebastian Fogg. Well, we're gonna make your life a living chaotic hell. Or at least that's what Korn is gonna do. I hope you don't mind. Now, what do I honestly expect? Well, really, I don't feel like I played against Sebastian before, so anything's up for grabs, really. I have the mobility to keep him at range, but I want to try and have the possibility of boarding him, though. Do I need a mission dissipator, though? I don't think I do unless he's all Armageddons. Since we're Korn, let's take advantage of it. I can do a lot of boarding damage if I can get a window for it. Otherwise, I don't want to be anywhere near his fleet. Also, the objectives are really spread out, so I'm kind of forced to grab them for a bit. At least to start off. And thankfully these are battle cruisers, so they can get the points really quickly anyway. So that's not a big problem. Now, I'm just watching the mini-map. I want to see how many ships we have to deal with. Because he cannot hide in a gas cloud, he could hide in the asteroid belts. In which case it just gives me free damage. Don't keep us waiting. Chaos hungers, Korn needs skulls. It is the Skulls for the Skulls Thrones event now. Or maybe that already went. Or maybe that's all done. I did not pay attention, honestly. But still. Skulls for the Skulls Thrones. Blood for... dang it. I can't remember. I can't remember the second part of that first. I'm a terrible Korn. I'm a terrible World Eater.
Moving to those coordinates.
A blood for the blood god, stupid me.
Reporting.
This is how you know I'm a terrible worship of Korn.
For now.
For crying out loud, I played Blood Bowl. You figure it would be unanimous of what I should be doing.
Your orders.
Blood for the blood god, yeah. That's what it was. I don't know why I stumbled on that.
To the slaughter. We stand ready.
And what was that? That was 4 ships, so... This could very easily be 4 battleships.
Reporting.
That is likely.
You have seized a strategic area.
Now I'm just wondering which fight squadron would get here first.
Swift Death Squadron, seeking prey.
And I gotta keep in mind I could shoot down their point defense some if I'm willing to let the fighters get shot down a bit.
Reporting.
And they have frigates, or they could be light cruisers.
For the War Master.
If they're light cruisers, that changes things a bit.
We are unstoppable.
Then we're not really dealing with battleships, and dang it, they're gonna get in a gas cloud. I should have launched those earlier. Oh, an Endeavor.
Victims.
Or not an Endeavor, but a Defiance.
Retros activated. We stand ready. Set engines to
Alright, so this
fire.
is not the fleet I was expecting, but it tells me it's a pre-made fleet, isn't it?
The enemy has seized a strategic area.
That's what I'm getting from this intel.
Reporting.
So let's try and make this entertaining somehow.
War Master wills.
I don't know how to do it, because if I try and fight in a straight-up battle, I'm gonna lose just because I have very little weaponry.
Orders.
Direct weaponry.
We stand ready.
Although, let's dodge these torpedoes with that said. Let's not make it easy for them.
For the dark gods.
Especially when you don't have short-burn torpedoes. Speaking of which, what are your upgrades?
The enemy has
Just the
seized a
generic stuff.
strategic area.
Swift Death Squadron, seeking prey.
So where are my bombers? Oh yeah, I forgot. You weren't in your own group. That's why I messed it up a bit.
Setting course.
That is now corrected.
Your orders.
Nope, more torpedoes.
For the
And what are you in?
Master.
You're a Vengeance. Okay, I was gonna say, are you an Avenger or
Those
not?
coordinates.
You are not.
Show us our
You were
victims.
just as angry though, with that name of a Vengeance. There's some good starting damage. No, I do not want to get hit by your torpedoes, please.
We'll follow your command for now.
And you guys just harass in the back,
Galaxy.
because already their flagship's hindered, and
For the ruinous power.
well, they actually have a Defiance. It's just not
The
defending
enemy
against the
has seized a
bombers yet.
strategic area.
Enemy ship sighted.
Oh, never mind. They're literally having the Defiance take the hits there.
Reporting.
Oh, this is not going to be pretty. Maybe I should not have done this, but this is going to hurt. If you don't launch those fighters now.
To the slaughter. Moving to those coordinates.
And melted torpedoes I can easily repair.
Your orders. Show us our
That was not
victory.
pretty. There goes their one carrier. And I'll let them have the stasis bomb for the moment.
Set engines to full ahead.
I don't know how I feel about the stasis bomb though, or disruption bomb. But I can easily deflect their torpedoes when they launch them.
Enemy ship sighted.
Nope,
Your orders.
they're doing notable damage to my ship there with the Vengeance.
Show us our victims.
Just don't get the engines permanently damaged, ideally.
Repair my ship.
I would like to repair that.
For the War Master.
There, that flagship sadly is gone. Not much they can do about it now. But there's still there goes the engines permanently gone.
As the War Master wills.
Fine, be that way.
Setting course. Swift.
So let's just cripple their point defense, shall we? And then we'll worry about bombing them to death
25%
afterwards.
of strategic points.
Because this is something I haven't really paid much attention to, is the fact I can kill their point defense. Oh, dang it. They hit in the gas cloud, so my fighters... Oh, no, they went after torpedoes. That's what happened.
Command for now.
Now I'm immediately regretting that decision of trying to shoot down their point defense, because
Master.
right now, they're just now getting to shooting down the point defense.
Show us our victims.
Encouraging speech, we do not want you to break, because that cost me matches before in this stream, so
Engines hot.
kill all their point defense so there's nothing they can do about it.
Accumulated 25% of strategic points.
I am going to lose one of my cruisers in a moment, though. It's a small price to pay to cripple these two. Because what? This cruiser now has only 3 point defense left to it.
Reporting.
Stop destroying my fire base, though. And let's grab the points. Might as well.
Our minions rampage through their
Because yeah, we can see I'm not killing this thing anytime soon.
We stand
It's taking an
ready.
eternity.
Boiling attack successful, Master.
Yeah, they lost enough point defense I could just go all out on bombing now.
Ship sighted.
They used to have 36 point defense with those 3 cruisers. Now they only have 9.
Oh, Master.
This is not going to be pretty.
Doomfire's unleashed.
So now I don't need the fighter screens to kind of protect them as much. At the very least, they're almost guaranteed to survive. Oh god, no! I don't want to get hit by torpedoes.
Moving to those coordinates.
And that cruiser has lost its crew. It's gone. And we're about to get our bloodletter parties yet again. So now we can do it again. Kill a second ship, that is. The boarding damage is actually pretty nice.
Setting course.
But when I double up on the broadside boarding, that does help a lot.
Reporting.
Yes, reactivate that crew so it can kill some more. Conveniently to a random critical hit.
We stand ready.
You have accumulated 50% of strategic points.
Now, frigate,
We are
I don't like you,
unstoppable.
so you can get a bomb to death, will you?
We'll follow your command for now.
There, that works out well. Oh no, he's learning how to use high energy turns and boosters. Sadly, he lost his...
The enemy has
Sadly, he lost his engines.
50% of strategic points.
Come on, you know you want to ram me.
Reporting.
I'll let you have this one.
Boiling attack successful, Master.
There you go, you'll probably kill the flagship at this rate. Before my bombers get to you. Oh, you had a dauntless too. That I was not prepared for.
Engines hot.
So we're not out of the woods yet.
Our minions rampage through their ship.
You have seized a strategic area.
And they do have a frigate too, so let's not get
Moving to those
complacent.
coordinates. Show us our victims.
Oh my. I guess you're not going to kill the flagship. The ship mutinied before he got that far.
We can't take much more.
I will take that.
Doomfire's unleashed.
Now bomb. Well, bomb the light cruiser quickly. Murder it. There, that was good murdering. Now the crew won't get executed because they just panicked and ran away. Now they look like they actually took a beating and were defeated.
Show us our victims.
The enemy is seizing one of your strategic areas.
Or at least the captain of that ship might survive. We probably killed like 500 people or however many people are on those ships. So it's probably not, it's only a win for the captain, I think, for when he files his report. Alright. So I'm having a tough idea what kind of fleet I want to try next. Because I'm worried if we played him again, double battle barge is going to be brutal. So let's try something silly. Let's play with a lot of rocks. Although, that's still going to be not going... That probably is not going to go very well with them. And I think this is the wrong fleet. I don't even know why I have Mega Rocks, honestly. Which one is the Mega Cannon battleship? Do I even want regular rocks? It works. It's a little nonsense, to say the least. They are simple and to the point. Yeah, what else do I want? I don't think boarding matters. Plasma bomb's good. And I don't even think I have much of saps, do I? What sub-faction would even be good for his fleet? We'll just go with our fancy hat, but I'm not going to use the commandos. I just like it because the Imperial Navy is not going to be noted difference, are they? Stupid gits are going to get caught off guard by a bunch of rocks sneaking into their territory. And they will be none the wiser. Come on, trust me. That's a rather convincing look, isn't it? Pay no mind to the green skin or the pointy ears. He looks like a proper commissar, if you ask me. Some of them more so than others, though. Like, who are you trying to fool, dang it? I don't know. He just looks like a regular commando boy. He does not look like an Imperial Guardsman. I am not fooled for an instant for this fella. Let's try one more. One more at least for fun. If we can get ourselves a fun match. It's kind of hard to do that without it still being a stomp, though, in a lot of circumstances. And that's kind of what I worry about most. I would like to try and make it entertaining for my opponents, but it's just tricky to do. Alright, moment of truth. What do we get? Oh, Sebastian again. If he knows how to use the melted torpedoes after I repair, he could murder my rocks just because of how bad my morale is. Just a couple of melted torpedoes can ruin me. And I said I wasn't going with commandos, damn it. What is it with this cloaking technology? This cloaking bug. Okay then. I don't think we're fooling anyone. I don't think we're fooling anyone, but let's have some fun with it. Conservatively, I probably just look like an idiot now. But then again, joke's on them if they are not fooled either way. The orcs should never be underestimated. I don't even know why I have this. The rocks can't even lose their deck. And I don't think I'm going to get a lot of use out of this, but it could help with my rocks surviving a little bit longer, if only slightly. Since the what? Get 80? Would they actually get 80 or 40 health back? No, just 40 health. So probably not all that exciting. Alright, what do we get? What do we get?
The fight is over here.
Hope it helps if I actually group my rocks. That's probably where part of my problem was. Three ships, so now you're going what? All battleships this time? Triple Emperor, really? Is that what it is? Are we actually going to be playing against Triple Emperor, or is there a bunch of Dauntlesses and light cruisers around that I'm not privy to? Either way, I'm going to hide the fact that I don't I'm just going to not reveal these rocks until we're about ready to jump them. We're not going to give away our surprise.
You got it, boss.
We're just going to rush him in. Well, if he were all Emperors, you figured he would have launched his fighters by now. So I don't know what these are.
You got it.
I'm just trying to figure out what fleet this is. It could be anything.
You have seized a strategic area.
I just haven't heard any boosting or anything just yet.
What you want?
But the frigates, we can reveal the frigates at least.
The fight is over here. Move that junk.
Here comes torpedoes. Ah, they're only cruisers. So you have a lot of hidden ships then. I have brace for impact. I should be able to shoot these down pretty well.
You want us over there?
And what got marked?
Orcs is best.
Nothing got marked, okay.
Retro's on.
Come on, points of defense, shoot them down. Or better yet, just dodge them all together. That was not planned, I promise.
Faster, you grots.
I did not plan to dodge every single torpedo by randomly flying into them, but it's what happened.
Full speed.
Here we come, ready or not.
You got it, boss.
I hope you boys are ready.
Ship sighted. Enemy ship sighted.
Because this is going to be a good one.
Wings ready. Here we go.
No, don't do it! Ow, that was painful to watch. Yeah, a silly fleet, but all it really is just me just charging in there and watching his fleet melt. I don't think there's anything exciting about watching this, let alone going up against this. If he hit me with melted torpedoes, that might have been a different story. And meanwhile, let's actually regenerate some of my health, since I have upgrades for that.
Enemy ship sighted.
The orcs are coming for ya. I hope you're ready.
Enemy ship sighted. We stumped.
It's not going to do a lot of damage with your shields, but it's probably going to scare you quite a bit. I guess I have to repair that now before it gets bad.
Get to work, you lazy gigs.
Alright, ready or not, here we come.
The enemy has seized a strategic area.
I do want to get my flagship in here though, and it's kind of tricky to do. But now that I'm flying in the middle of everything, these rocks are starting to pull their weight.
We stumped the enemy ship.
Although I have torpedoes too. Let's see how badly this goes, since they fire torpedoes in every single direction.
Move that junk.
And now what to make it more ridiculous? just blow up our own ships in the process.
Move that junk.
Yeah,
Over there.
that clearly was a brilliant idea, wasn't it?
Fight another day.
There, now just ram with, use my rocks as a bit of a wrecking ball.
Orcs.
Nope. I better get in there quickly so I can rally this lot. They're not cooperating now.
You ain't the boss of me.
I don't think I care about that one ship anyway. It's about to explode due to burning anyway. Partly due to my own blowing up my own ships. That probably has something to do with it too. There we go. Final charge done. And what's most fun about this fleet is I'm not even using the tracked cans to screw them up. I'm using the tracked cans so I can ram them more.
He's ready.
Which seems like an appropriate use of the orc rocks, isn't it? Because normally, the tracked can really screw over an opponent.
Fight is over here.
But I'm just using it so I can swing my balls around. What can I say?
What you want?
You have accumulated 50%.
Yeah, it still seemed like it was just a stomp because all I did was, to use the StarCraft or RTS term, I just A-moved over them and won. So I want to believe it was maybe a fun match, but I can't help but wonder if my opponent is still frustrated by that loss. So how can I make it entertaining? Yeah, that's standard orc tactics, but really, when do you ever see an orc player use the tracked cannon on their own ships? Let's be serious. It's more useful to just try and grab their ships so that way you can isolate them and ideally get them in mega cannon range. You almost never use it for your own ships. And it can be useful in that regard too. Maybe not as practical when you only have one of them, but in Armada 1, when you can equip every ship with a tractor cannon, you can use them to just dodge torpedoes basically if they try and fire them all at one ship. It can be really damn useful if you are open-minded and position yourself properly, because without a doubt it's tricky to do when your weapon is stuck to the prow. Well, let's try it one more time. That was fun, but again, it's a question, how can I make that fun for my opponent? Because my opponent needs to know that he needs to fire the melter torpedoes on the rocks. Otherwise, they're just going to steamroll over them when he can't critically hit any other way. Therein lies the problem for me, but I don't know. I don't know there. I didn't really enjoy playing with the Vanguard fleet, I'll be honest, but then again, we played with a bit of an odd Dauntless fleet, and it kind of emphasizes the weakness of the Vanguard fleet as a result of that. They almost quite literally had double the ships. So even if I did potentially the smart thing and engaged half their fleet, I still couldn't kill them. It's possible those 6 Dauntlesses or 5 Dauntlesses could have still defeated my Vanguards if they didn't have the rest of their fleet rejoin them. So it's a little unfortunate there. Otherwise, this probably will be my last match, which is why I'm seriously considering switching over to Space Marines and having fun with battle barges. I probably will, but what I'm instead gonna do is not even... I'm just gonna try and obliterate them with bombardment cannons, and maybe the dumbfire torpedoes. I might not even try to use the boarding torpedoes, depending on what we're up against. Just straight up win through raw firepower if possible. And have a little bit of fun with that and end it off on that. We'll need an opponent first though. Like I said, it's basically at that part of the day where probably everyone who was playing the multiplayer is basically done with the multiplayer, since that was the prime time after all, when everyone's on at once. I don't really see many other opponents after this point. Since we're what? It's 8 o'clock almost for the British now. It's without a doubt the middle of the night for the Australians and Asians. And I don't even know how many Americans actually play, because it always seems like lunchtime, early morning is when it's the most populated. So I don't imagine there's a lot of American people playing, in at least the multiplayer. But I'm only guessing. Just don't leave me in suspense, game. Although, it's entirely possible, again, that everyone's already in a match and I'm just waiting for them to finish. There's no real way to tell, because there's no like lobby or anything that tells how many people are actually playing on the multiplayer right now, which could help a little bit with people trying to queue up, if only slightly. Or it might just scare everyone away when they realize there's only like 3 or 4 people playing multiplayer, for all we know. Hard to say. There is definitely a lot of potential in this game. It's just a question on the fact that it is kind of like a 1v1 multiplayer, kind of an RTS, a pseudo RTS game. Real-time tactics, I suppose, might be more appropriate. It's kind of, yeah, there's not a lot of luster for an RTS game at this point, let alone a 1v1 kind of RTS game. Because we've been seeing it for a while, with MOBAs being really prominent after Warcraft 3, people being more interested in controlling individual heroes, and of course in a team-oriented type of game where the blame seemingly is not on you as much as a 1v1 game would. And now we're, what, at the point where we're auto chests, auto battlers are kind of the big thing, and battle royales, whereas I don't know about auto chests or auto battles. I haven't played any of them, but battle royales, there's so much variance to that. You don't have to worry about intimidation as much, especially if you just do, what is it, the 4 3-man groups for that. So I like to say that it's just branching away from 1v1 in general, regardless of the game almost. But I don't know what else to really say aside for hopefully we get our matches quickly, because it's almost been 4 hours. And if we can get that final match in, we will break the 4-hour point, depending how long it is. But I am a little bit saddened that we didn't get to see a new type of Space Marine ship, considering we're in the current lore of Warhammer. But maybe there might be possibility for that further on. Since Tinlos did include brand new ships, they even included the original Scourge for Necrons. It's the only original ship because everything else was from the tabletop, I believe. The ships they added for Chaos, the Vanguard, I believe, are original, to be fair, but I think there was a little bit of precedence in some of the Forge World books and descriptions. Since I think there was mention of a Vanguard, but that was more of a refitted or retrofitted strike cruiser, as opposed to actually being a light cruiser itself. So there isn't a lot of originality just yet with this game, as far as it's, yeah, especially since again this is now on current lore of Warhammer, and Games Workshop hasn't really done anything to update Battlefleet Gothic just yet. They may bring the tabletop back, and if they do that, because keep in mind they're bringing back Necromunda, I believe. For what is it, Necromunda, or am I thinking of something else? There's a lot of like smaller skirmish type games that they're bringing back, specialist games. Never mind that they're bringing up new ones for Games Workshop, like the Titanicus tabletop game where you're basically playing only knights and titans. The aeronautic game where you just play with only aerial fighters. So, if they do bring back Battlefleet Gothic, I wonder if that would be the main catalyst, if they could do enough to bring appeal to it. How that might affect the video game. Oh yes, the Jovian. That's that weird rare one that you can have special rules for. I can't remember its stats though, because there were a couple of rogue trader, alien merchant stuff that you can include in Battlefleet Gothic as well. But yeah, it would be nice. Oh, come to think of it, now that I was talking about original ships and that, the Drukhari never actually had a battleship in the tabletop, did they? Oh, the Jovian. Oh, you're talking about that one-of-a-kind cruiser. Never mind. I thought you were talking about the Xenos, like, really, that had, like, exotic rules for it. Yeah, I remember the Jovian. That was with Battlefleet Baka, if I remember. It was supposedly a one-of-a-kind ship, I think. There was only one of them that was fitted because the Imperial Navy had such a negative look at dedicated carrier ships. Keep in mind, Chaos are all former older designs of Imperial Navy, and most of them are all carrier ships. So you can see how the mindset of the Imperial Navy has kind of faltered since then. But yeah, I would love something a little bit cheaper that isn't an Exorcist that could be a dedicated carrier ship. I can't remember if it had torpedoes or not though, which would be nice. But it seems like we may not get our opponent. They're either already in a match, which hopefully they're finishing up pretty soon. I'll give it another few minutes though. And then we'll stop there if we don't get an opponent. Because I really would like to kind of finish off on the Double Battle Barge. It just probably is not going to go well for my opponent. Since it is a pretty, it can be a pretty dangerous Space Marine fleet to go up against. Because you have like the best armor in the game. Chaos battle barges, yeah. There could be like all sorts of special rules. While it would be a separate game mode like the gigantic Titan fleets, where you could allow controlling multiple fleets of different factions. So you could have Chaos and Space Marines kind of grouped together, and of course just play it out as a Renegade Space Marine chapter. Because there is a Renegade, there is a Renegade Space Marine chapter in the campaign after all. So it definitely could work. Never mind that the Red Corsairs are like a recent Renegade faction as well, and they're part of Chaos. I like to think they're recent. I don't know how recent is recent for them. Yeah, well, not the Fallen. There is like a campaign encounter with them though, but it's one of the regions that have there is like a Renegade Space Marine force that uses Space Marine fleets. I can't remember what chapter they were called though. I honestly can't remember. I'm trying to, but it was a very small system though, of like 4 or 5 planets, so you didn't really have much reason to go there. Unless you wanted a shortcut towards the Orcs' territory, where their Space Hulk was and everything, maybe. I honestly can't remember though. But there was a Space Marine chapter there you had to go up against. Never mind, of course, Imperial Navy pirates, which of course you just fought against other Imperial Navy ships. That was down near the Agrippina system early on in the campaign. Well, sadly this looks like, oh, just as I say that, I was about to call it there. So what do we get in that case? I am just wondering, can I just go with the all macro cans and raw damage type of strategy or handicap? Or do I have to try and bore them to death? Aw, don't tell me they disconnected. Yeah, I'm just waiting, but I think they lost connection or something. So we'll give this another try, because they might just reconnect. At least my game is handling fine. There was no crashes or anything like that, which it does happen on occasion. But it's been handling well for me there. So let's just launch in there in case they get another opponent already. I don't want to miss out, because I was waiting long enough as is. And thankfully it pays off. But it's still a question of who we're going up against. What do we get? Alright, I don't know you either, so we're gonna try and handicap ourselves a bit. I won't use boarding, we're gonna try to just kill you through raw damage, which means I'm gonna have to keep you at arm's length for that to work. Especially if you know how to use torpedoes against me, that's gonna hurt a lot. And our invisible battle barge is apparent. And with that said, extended range and disruption. Well, this is an opportunity to see if disruption overcharge is still bugged or not. It says it does additional damage to shields, but it also keeps their shields from recharging, which is where the bug comes in to play. And hopefully, it may have been fixed, because otherwise, it's an upgrade you almost always want to have when you're going up against Imperial Navy or anyone that relies heavily on shields to mitigate long-range damage. And to just keep them from recharging their shields too. And there's a lot of ships, so yeah, frigate. Okay, figured as much. So this, I almost want to say this is a pre-made fleet. We're just gonna shoot them with long-range artillery fire. Nothing fancy here.
We stand ready.
I just don't want to.
Position.
I just want them to somehow have a good time, but that's going to be tricky, considering they're dealing with double battleships. This is a lot of durability, this is a lot of power, and they have shields to just mitigate long-range fire really well too. Never mind the supercharged void shield.
I'm listening.
To where we are needed.
And
You have seen
let me just reveal their
strategic
ships,
area.
with that said.
Show us the enemy.
And we'll see what happens here.
Where shall we strike?
So what do I realistically expect? Well, again, if it's a pre-made fleet... Oh, is that actually being revealed? What's going on here? Why do I actually see the frigate? I'm a little confused. I'm a little paranoid now.
Where shall we strike? Full speed.
Yeah, well,
Enemy in sight.
everything's revealed.
Enemy in sight.
They have an emperor, is it? Yep, that's an emperor. So that's not much of a threat. It's mostly a support carrier ship anyway.
You have seized a strategic area.
So I should have a relatively easy time
Full
here.
course.
Oh, they killed my fighters though, didn't they? The nerve of them.
Obliterate that target.
Hold course.
We stand ready. Repositioning.
Nope, cloaking technology does
I'm
not
listening.
do me much good here.
Engines engaged.
Because I would love to know my heading for purposes of shooting them.
Give us purpose.
Even if I'm not doing a lot of damage.
Show us the enemy.
We stand ready.
It's going to take a lot of time to just kill them with raw macro cannons though. But once they start getting on my prow for maybe dumbfire torpedoes, that will change quickly. Especially if my frigates are going to join in on this.
We stand ready. To where we are needed. Show us the enemy.
Yeah, they're just basically flying aimlessly there, so I could basically kill those for free, dang it. This is not the match I wanted. I'll let them focus on their, on just the battle barge then.
The enemy has seized
Because
a
they're almost
strategic
AI
area.
pathing right over onto the objectives,
Where
dang
shall we
it.
strike? At your command. We stand ready.
Oh well, this is where the battleships are strongest because I can grab the objectives so much quicker
The
than
enemy
them.
has seized a strategic area.
And we'll see if they reveal the frigates or
We
not.
stand ready. Halt advance. Moving to position.
Alright, so you're just going to take the shield hits and then recharge the
Enemy
shields
in sight.
immediately.
Enemy in sight.
Now bring those shields back up for me, please.
Engines engaged. Enemy in
And do
sight.
it again. Although it helps if I prioritize my targets, so that way I can actually start killing ships. I don't know where that Grand Cruiser's going though. Someone insubordinating like that needs to be executed anyway, so I'll happily have... Oh, you rapidly turn that thing around.
Underway.
Hold
Prow
course.
Lance is gone there. Incoming bombers, or fighters, or whatever the heck they are.
I am listening.
The enemy has
And you're just
seized
gonna
a
go into
strategic
ramming
area.
distance, aren't you? Fine, I ram you first. See how you like it.
I am listening.
I'm not going into your plasma bomb.
Halt advance.
I'm just gonna sit here and bomb you.
Initiate Thunderhawk bombardment. Give us purpose. Engines engaged.
Well,
Where
the
shall we
frigates
strike?
here have a bit of a death wish.
Accumulated 25%
They're just
of
ramming my
strategic
battle
area.
barge to death.
Underway.
This is not at all the match I was wanting or expecting.
To where we are needed. Repositioning.
And board me all you like, that's not gonna do much.
Enemy in sight.
Actually, let's just kill this, like, Dauntless already. They might actually do notable damage. They are actually
Give us purpose.
doing a fair amount to my ships currently.
Moving to position.
I'm just waiting to maybe grab the objective here.
First the enemy. Full power to engines.
All servitors and tech marines, begin repairs.
Alright, continue hammering these things.
I am
Oh god. He's learning how to control his ships now.
engaged.
I won't let you ram me.
Feel our might.
Although he's gonna ram me anyways, isn't he?
Hold course.
We stand ready.
Oh well, that's why I have
Hold
bombers.
course.
And torpedoes.
Halt advance.
Although those weren't as effective torpedoes as I liked because they're gonna hit my own ship.
Tech marines, calm the machine spirits.
At your command. Feel our might. Show us the enemy.
Well, once this Grand Cruiser's down, we're pretty much done with this match.
Strike.
The enemy has
Not
seized
exactly
the
the highlight I
strategic
want for this fleet. Or for the stream, but
Underway.
let's at least send them off. Although I'm gonna miss, aren't I? Nope, I hit with 2 of them.
Give us purpose.
Out of the ones that actually survived the trip.
Underway.
There, more torpedoes there.
I am listening.
For where we are needed.
You have accumulated 50%.
So now we just gotta hammer this thing and we're good.
Engines engaged.
Although they may, if I'm not careful, they may actually take out this battle barge, so
Where shall we strike?
we need to deal with this now.
Into position. Give us purpose.
Although your ship's mutiny will actually helps quite a bit.
Protocols.
The enemy has accumulated 25% of strategic points.
Alright, finish this Dauntless off.
Repositioning.
Break off from the Emperor.
Show us the enemy.
Oh yeah, I wasn't paying attention to that, but I'm still good.
To where we are needed.
Battle barge is still good. And yeah, apparently it is. Yeah, it's keeping him from recharging his shields too, dang it.
Stand ready.
So that supercharged void shield's doing nothing.
Initiate Thunderhawk bombardment.
So it's still bugged. It's from the looks of it.
You have accumulated 75% of strategic
They almost got the one
points.
battle barge at least.
Show us the enemy.
By the Emperor's Light it survived somehow. Through all that kamikaze ramming. So, not the match I would have liked, but oh well. It was a good stream at least, so I'm happy with it. Thank you everyone for tuning in. And I don't think I'm going to do a stream tomorrow, but at least we're getting a handful of matches in, so I can at least be happy for it. It's survived by duct tape and purity seals. Or probably the purity seals. I don't even think the Imperial Navy knows what duct tape is. What is it, what is this duct tape? It's probably heresy. Kill the fool who invented that. Or came up with it. Anyways, have a good night everyone. Or have a good day even.